You don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Dead up perfect in the kid. Got a billion who take on my hate. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of What If Saitama Enters Attack on Titan with Eren and Levi. Smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Hero Taxi. Frustrated Berthold placed his hands on Riener's shoulders. Riener, what are you now? Riener pulled Berthold's hand down and said with a calm expression on his face, Relax, I'm a warrior. You're saying to trust Ymir as a warrior. Berthold asked again about her. Isn't she the one who ate Marcel? Riener responded with a calm and serious expression. Yeah, that's my point. Ymir's motive is clear. Once she turned human again, she probably roamed around and lived only caring about herself. Until she met Krista. And as cute Krista is, we have other reasons to bring her to our side. Riener continued, she's an important person in a family of the church. If Eren turns out not to be the coordinate, our job isn't over yet. Having Krista with us at that point will make our search much easier. They stared at the flares of the scouts flying on the sky. They're close. And where is that Saitama? Berthold retorted and asked with a curious expression. He's probably won't come back. He must be already told to the scouts about our location. There's no point to stay here any longer. Riener propelled himself on the tree branch where Eren and Ymir were sitting. Eren asked with a frustrated and serious expression planted on his face. What's going on, Riener? Aren't we waiting until night? Riener answered with no hesitation. Nope, we're leaving now. Eren, don't try to receive, Berthold shouted to Riener, making him avert his gaze from Eren and watch at the open fields. It's huge clouds of dust. It must be. Riener's eyes widen in surprise. This hero of yours is easy to manipulate. Am I right, Eren? Ha, Eren sieged himself onto Riener, catching him off guard and knocked him on the branch, hitting his face multiple times with his arms while he screamed. Die, 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 die. Riener kicked furiously Eren on the tree log and headlocked him. I'll kill you. I'll slaughter you. He screamed as loud as he could. Saitama was reaching them with incredible speed, but he had someone else in his hands with him. The hero leaped himself and Sasha on top of the branches where the others was. Everyone froze, especially Riener and Berthold. Saitama put gently down Sasha on the branch next to Ymir. She was shocked and scared of what she just witnessed. Riener. Berthold, I can't believe this. Riener didn't see that coming. He thought the hero was coming alone, but with Potato Girl. He's nuts, he's crazy, he must die. Sasha, tell the others to hurry, they planning to take us away. Eren screamed in desperation. Sasha walked behind the hero. She knew he's the only capable of protecting her if Riener attacks. Who you working for? She asked Riener, scared and nervous behind Saitama. Like hell we'll tell you. Riener launched himself towards Sasha with his blades equipped. He was about to slice her up, but a red glove grabbed the sword's edge like it was paper. Oi, I won't allow you to do this. She only wants to know who's your boss. So come on now, don't be angry for such ridiculous reason. Riener lost his patience and ordered Berthold. Let's leave now. Berthold lost it for a few seconds, but he came back to reality, nodding to Riener, and took Ymir on his back. Stop, Saitama shouted and got everyone's attentions. We brought water. Sasha handed over. Sasha gave him her full canteen. The caped hero walked to Ymir and let her drink. She almost got chocked from the water. Saitama thought in his mind while he holded the canteen to Ymir's mouth. Wow, she had to be really thirsty. Thank you. That's all she said before Berthold and Riener flew off with her and Eren on their backs. Saitama shifted his head to Sasha and said with a neutral expression on his face, I should take you back now, but thanks for the help. Sasha blushed again and covered her face with her hands. She climbed the hero's back and they set off back to the scouts. A red smoke signal, a scout next to Erwin said before the commander shot another green flare to the left side of the formation. He retrieved in return 2 more red smoke signals from the left side. What? Another 2 red signals to the front where he was. Commander, we're surrounded. The scout right next to Erwin said with a nervously tone. The second one replied to them, there's a way around. Should we head towards it? Erwin gave a negative answer, no. Any detours and we'll be too late. We'll force our way through. All soldiers, prepare for battle. Titans were chasing after Riener and Berthold with Eren and Ymir on their backs inside the forest. Riener ordered, for now, let's get to a place without Titans. We need to get as far as possible. My Titan form isn't very fast. If I get surrounded, I won't be able to protect you guys. Saitama returned Sasha back to Connie, who let her ride on the horse with him. The hero made a big jump and reached next to Erwin. He holded back as much as he could to not break the ground from the high momentum. Saitama, we need you to chase after the traitors and don't lose their trails. The hero nodded and his face turned serious with shadows covered his eyes. Got it. Saitama stopped running and took an Olympic stance, placing both hands on the floor. Killer move, serious series, serious leap. Saitama ran so fast, all the ground behind him turned into giant holes. He was running with incredible speed, way faster than before. He launched himself on the air with huge momentum. It was so much that sended himself like a rocket into the forest and making several trees fly hundreds of meters into the air, with their routes still attached to the trees. The scouts saw only a small light flying on the sky with unbelievable speed. Erwin shifted his gaze towards that light. The commander knew who that was. Both Berthold and Yeager shifted their heads behind them to see a countless amount of trees flying like leaves. GHHH, it's his doing, I'm sure of it. Yeager cursed the hero and turned his attention forward once again. Ymir stared back with a more cleared view now, and saw Historia riding a horse next to other scouts. Ymir's expression turned into a determined one and shouted to Yeager. Yeager, Krista's here. Krista came with them. Yeager mumbled, huh. Ymir kept shouting, if you want her, now's the chance. How do you know? You can't see her from here. Ymir defended her point, I just know it. She's such a good-natured person, it's stupid. I guarantee she came to save me. I know it. Yeager gave a scared expression and responded. Even if that's true, it's no use. We'll do it later. Ymir mumbled back to him in disbelief. Huh? Our chance of succeeding is way too low. How will you get Krista out of that formation? Wait for a chance. Ymir showed even more disbelief in Yeager's words, wait for a chance. Seriously, will that be after I'm eaten by one of your warriors? No, I don't trust you. Yeager didn't want to argue with her and explained. Trust me, Krista is indispensable to us, too. Ymir demanded to be Krista here with her. Then get her now. Go prove it to me this instant. It had to be now or never. I want to see her right now. At this rate, I'll never get a chance to see her again. And how that Krista looked like. They heard a calm voice right next to them. Turning around to find who the voice belonged to, Ymir gave a small smile and an emotion of relief. Yeager, look, it's him. The blonde titan shifter shifted his head towards the right side of his sights. Saitama had returned and he's matching with their ODM maneuver gears pretty easily without breaking a sweat. The caped baldy was jumping from tree to tree next to them. You again, hero, if you came to prevent us from succeeding our mission, you will fail miserably. Ymir gave to the hero a sad look, while her eyes begun watering. I'm begging you, bring Krista to me. I want to see her. Why, you're a hero, right? You have to help the ones that need your help, right? Saitama nodded to confirm Ymir's words and replied. I'm feeling like I am a taxi or something, but whatever, I don't care. If you desire that Krista so much, I'll get her here for you. Ymir started describing Historia to Saitama. She's the cutest blonde girl in the entire formation. There's no way you will miss her bright blue eyes. Saitama nodded and headed back from where the scouts coming from. They now entered the half-ripped forest. Almost everyone knew that was Saitama's responsibility. Armin saw the hero looking for something on a branch with his legs kneeled. Saitama, where is Eren and Ymir? What about Yeager? Berthold, Jean gripped on the side of a tree and asked with a cocky smirk planted on his face. So that's Saitama I heard so much about, huh? Mikasa glared daggers on Saitama. Her hands were shaking on her sword's grips, but she had the courage and asked, did the baldy lost their tracks? Jean asked nervously now cause the hero seemed to ignore them, exactly how he did with the sassy lost child from his world. Did you fought Yeager and after that you lost them? Where are they? Saitama saw the only familiar person he could talk to about the current situation. Oh, Sasha, can you help me find someone named Krista? Sasha was flattered because he remembers her name but confused at the same time. She responded to Saitama with a pointed finger. She's that girl over there. Saitama shifted his gaze towards Historia, who recognized the hero instantly, thanks to his bald head and yellow suit. She landed in front of him with her gear and asked with an innocently expression on her face. Saitama, where are the others? Where's Ymir? Saitama showed her the way he came and said, no worries, I'll take you to her. Just hold tight my cape, all right. Historia was confused and replied, with no more precious time to waste, Saitama picked her up and placed her on the back of his shoulder. Then he fled with her, jumping from tree to tree, Saitama furthering his distance with the scouts. Tawny dropped a sweat from his forehead and said, he's taking Krista away. Jean shouted and ordered to everyone with a mad tone while he started chasing the caped hero. Don't just stand there. Chase him. Saitama noticed he were being followed and speed up his movements. With slightly effort, him and Historia was way much further from the scouts. They barely could see his white cape. Mikasa's expression turned into a serious, deadly one. She knew from the start Saitama was working for Yeager and Bertholdt. Jean didn't know the hero. In fact, he just saw how his face looks like, but the teenager showed disbelief and replied, "I can't be the only one that could have guessed it would turn out this way." Armin agreed with Jean and retorted, "Yeah, he's clearly hostile to us now. Looks like he's cooperating with Yeager. He lured us right in." Saitama spotted Yeager and Bertholdt waiting for them on a large branch. "Here he comes, and he have Krista on his back, Yeager." Yeager stood up with a knife in his hands. He shifted towards the other side and jumped to the open fields, cutting his palm and transforming into the armored titan. Both Saitama with a big jump and Bertholdt with the ODM gear landed onto Armored Titan's shoulders. "It seems they're fleeing with Historia, Ymir and Eren," Armin mumbled to them. "Oh no, Eren's being taken away." Hans stand next to them and ordered furiously, "Don't stop. Get on your horse and chase." All the scouts ride on their horses again and chase the Armored Titan in the open fields. "I'm getting him back no matter what, even if it means trading my life for it," determined Hans said with a serious face while Mikasa was burning from the inside. She wanted vengeance. The only way to fulfill this revenge was to decapitate Saitama herself. Erwin was a little bit baffled from the situation and shifted his gaze behind to see the Armored Titan running away with Eren and Saitama on his back. The commander administered this and rescripted to the soldiers, "All squads, let Titans chase after you. Follow my lead." The commander raised his sword up and gave the order. A member of the military police who had several sweat tears falling from his head shouted to Erwin, "Erwin, you demon, are you trying to use us as bait again?" Erwin turned his stare to him and continued, "That's not my intention. The military police have fought well. Now serve your duty as soldiers. The Armored Titan plans is to escape with Eren. We have to stop him no matter what." A bunch of Titans were chasing the scouts, Jean said with a nervously look planted on his face. "He's not fast enough to escape. We'll catch up," Mikasa rejoined with a serious expression to Jean. "This time, I won't hesitate. I'll kill them. All the three of them, I swear. And if Ymir gets in my way, she's asking for it, too." Her eyes widen in anger. "No matter what it takes, I will." Saitama put Historia down next to Ymir and Bertholdt. "Krista." Bertholdt called her name and turned towards her. Her gaze was on the hero who were staring behind them, the scouts, and scratching his nose. "Saitama, I had no idea our first meeting will be in such dire situation. My name is Historia Rias. Nice to meet you, Historia." Saitama shaked her hand cautiously. "Why did you betray us, Saitama? They trying to manipulate you?" The hero's expression turned into a blank one and responded back to Historia while she asked with particular interest, "I didn't betray you. They are really boring. I thought that Yeager guy could tell me for who they work for, but he's a chicken." Historia exhaled in half relief and shifted her head towards Ymir. Ymir had a frustrated expression planted on her face. "Cry no. Historia, I bet you're mad at me." Historia was shooking her gaze towards her and Saitama. "Ymir, what is this? What are you doing?" "We came here to rescue you, Eren and Saitama." The hero raised his finger and answered to Historia. "I don't need rescue, child. I told you why I'm here, for information about their boss." Ymir shouted right after the caped hero. "I don't need rescue either." Ymir continued with an intensifying tone on her voice. "Just stay right there. I'm following Yeager and Bertholdt now. You, too, come with me." Historia staring her with neutral eyes like Saitama. "There's no future within the walls. Listen to me, Historia. Outside of the walls isn't as bad as you think. Especially because there won't be anyone saying that you're better off not being born." Historia spoke back to her with a serious expression too. "I'm pretty sure Titans won't be saying that to me, because they'll be too busy trying to eat me." Saitama shifted his head to Historia and responded, "PSSFT, come on, don't be so dramatic." The blonde was ready to reply back, but Ymir shouted, "Everyone has at least one or two faults. If you can just overlook that, they're not so bad after all." The hero nodded to Ymir in agreement and answered, "That's true. I have made tons of mistakes, like how many times I have lost the bargain sale back to my world." He was blinking in disappointment about that. Historia didn't took the hero seriously and continued arguing with Ymir. "Ymir, everything you're saying and doing isn't making any sense. Could it be that Yeager and Bertholdt threatened you?" Bertholdt came in the conversation and said, "It's the reverse." Historia shouted to Ymir with a determined expression on her cute face. "Am I right, Ymir? I'll fight them with you. I don't care if there's something you can't tell me. No matter what happens, I will always be your ally. Just like Saitama." Saitama shook his shiny bald head up and down to let Historia know she's right about him. Bertholdt grabbed Ymir's attention and said, "Ymir, look, the scouts have already gotten this close. If only we had run right away, we probably would have been able to escape. but because you forced us to bring Krista. At this rate, they'll catch us. Hey, Ymir, are you telling us we did all of that for nothing? Is that really what you want? Letting Krista rot within the walls? Don't be stupid. Ymir, Historia shouted to her. Ymir, stop this madness. Ymir responded with the same loud tone. I can't, Historia. To be honest, ... the reason I told Saitama to snatch you ... was only to save myself. Historia gave the same look as Saitama. Confused and blank one, she mumbled. Huh? Ymir explained to Historia and Saitama, even though he didn't care about her boring backstory. A long time ago, I stole the power of the Titans from one of their comrades. There's nothing I can do against them. Sooner or later, they will kill me. But if I hand you over and cooperate with them ... they said they would see what they can do and try to make it so my crime goes away. Because you know the secrets of the wall, you're someone important to the church. That piqued Saitama's curiosity and asked, cause he wanted to do something to escape his boredom. This world proved to be even more boring than his own. You say she's important to the church, what is she? The caped hero gave the question with a humbled expression. Ymir responded to Saitama with a tremendously cocky smile. Like hell, I'll tell a nobody outsider like you, Baldy. Saitama didn't want to argue with this stubborn bitch. He knew he could knock her out in one punch anytime he wanted. But he's humble about the infinite power within him. Historia's eyes widened even more and had a flashback. Ymir continued to talk once this world started going to hell. I thought being with you would give me insurance in the future. I almost died during the battle at the castle. ... and that feeling scarred me for life. I'm afraid to die. I'll do whatever it takes to live. I'm pathetic. Saitama now wanted to one-slap her ass for talking that much. But he didn't want the scouts to see him as the bad guy. The hero knew he had already the black hair shitty brat who hates him for life. He didn't want more enemies for no fucking reason. Saitama remained silent and suppressed his frustration. Ymir continued talking to Historia without worrying about the scouts and the titans who were lurking around. I told myself I send him to take you for your sake. But really, I let him did it for myself. Please, Historia. Please, please save me. Historia gave her and Saitama a cute considerably smile and responded positively. No matter what happens, I will always be your ally. Eren finally woke up and started wiggling from Bertholdt's back while hands and the scouts launched themselves on the armored titan. Mikasa propelled herself on the armored titan's body with a great display of acrobatics. Ready to strike and bring down Bertholdt, he desperately ran under armored titan's head and screamed, Reiner, protect us. 2 seconds earlier Mikasa was about to slice Bertholdt into half, but a red glove grabbed one-handed both of her swords. Her eyes had begun wild. They didn't seem like humanly irises anymore. The black color of her tremendously widened eyeballs stared into Saitama's serious expression while shadows covered the hero's eyes. The caped Baldy said with a heavy voice against her, there's no reason for you to take away those guys' lives. You're persistent, so I'll fight you seriously once right now. His expression turned into a stupid menacing one and finished by saying, come, try your worst. Mikasa had been waiting for the moment she will decapitate the annoying Baldy. This is the time. You die here, bastard. Both of the blades shattered onto Saitama's hand. Bertholdt couldn't do anything, only watch the fight between a mortal and a god. You're boring, way much more than the Sonic dude from my world. Mikasa punched Saitama's face so hard her own hand begun to bleed. She grunted in pain but didn't stop punching him. Why won't you die? Saitama got a little bit angry from her irritating voice and shouted, shut the fuck up. He pushed her off the armored titan with a slightly palm push. I'll check if she's okay. Ymir, stay with Historia. Ymir nodded before the hero jumped off from Reiner too. He and Mikasa were now on the ground in the open fields. They grabbed both scouts and titans' attentions. My Mikasa, and that's Saitama. Armin responded to Jean while he dropped a sweat. They will fight 1 versus 1, damn it. We must go for Eren. Mikasa was unconscious for a minute. Some titans tried to eat her. Saitama vanquished them and sended them to oblivion with only 1 punch like usual. Come on, Brad, I'll give you the seriously fight you want so bad from me. Mikasa stood up slowly and dizzy from the mighty push Saitama did on her. I'll destroy them. ... and you. She equipped another 2 blades and hissed at him with full hatred. While Jean stand upon armored titan's head with a mad expression towards Ymir. Historia begged him don't kill Ymir. Jean said nervous and angry that all depends on Ymir. What will it be? Mikasa will kill everyone that gets in her way after she killed at Saitama, so choose. Historia shouted no, wait. Ymir will be killed unless she does what Reiner and Bertholdt say. She doesn't have a choice. Jean responded with his blades equipped in hands. Krista, do you pick Eren or Ymir? Which is it? Ymir almost bite herself but Historia prevented her from completing it. Stop, Ymir. Don't fight back. You'll die. Don't do it. Ymir stayed silent while Jean went to the front with Armin, Connie and Sasha. Bertholdt and Eren were covered by armored titans' hands in order to not allow anyone from reaching them. Quit it, Eren. Don't struggle, Jean replied with an underestimating expression on his face to Bertholdt. Good luck with that, Bertholdt. It's impossible to get him to calm down. He's the most irritating guy there is. I know better than anyone. I hate him as much as you do. So let's beat him up together. Why don't you come out of there? Connie and Sasha still couldn't believe it. Hey, you're kidding, right? Bertholdt, Reiner, this whole time, you kept quiet and deceived us. That's so cruel. Sasha said something similar to Connie's words. You guys, tell us it's all a lie. No response from Bertholdt, but they didn't give up either. Jean spoke again. Hey, you think you can just keep running away? That's not gonna happen. For 3 years, didn't we sleep under the same roof as comrades through thick and thin? Bertholdt, your odd sleeping positions were truly an art form. After a while, we all looked forward each morning to seeing your pose. And tried to predict the weather. But you, to think you, the invader, could sleep like a log, right next to your victims. Connie tried to communicate with Bertholdt too. Was everything a lie? Remember we talked about surviving this together, with Saitama and Mikasa. Mikasa launched herself forward towards Saitama with a killing intense stare. She shouted while her blades were going for his head. Die. Saitama broke the blades with his teeth, and made Mikasa stumble back with utter shock. What the? I didn't see what happened. His face should have been sliced open, but the blades. Saitama replied with a disappointed expression. You are so weak I can't even fight you seriously. Now can you forgy? Mikasa raised her arm and launched a punch to Saitama. Her eyes widened in even more shock as she felt her fist being blocked by Saitama's red-gloved hand. She suddenly felt the exact pressure she felt back on the wall on her head, an enormous one coming from her hand. She fell to the ground, her fist still in Saitama's grip. She could feel her fingers were about to snap. Through gritted her teeth she looked up at Saitama, who looked down at her with his neutral expression, his grasp making her flinch in pain, but he let her go after 5 seconds and replied to her. Hey, I don't want to fight you. I want to let you know we are in the same team. Even if you hate me, I don't okay. Mikasa was struggled to move her fingers, but she said to him furiously, I don't know what the fuck you are, but you're clearly not a human. Saitama scratched his head and responded to her. I actually am a human, but I trained hard. She shut him off by shouting bullshit. How you became so strong, Baldy? The hero exhaled and told her, if I tell you, will you believe me? Cause everyone else to my world didn't. She angrily nodded and listened his hero training regimen. First, what's important is to make sure you stick to this intense training regimen. Mikasa said in a loud tone. What training? Saitama continued. Listen, Mikasa, you just have to keep doing it, no matter how hard it gets. It took me 3 years to get this strong. Saitama's expression turned serious for the next 10 seconds and answered. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, then a 10-kilometer run, every single day. After a year and a half later, I started to notice a difference. I was bald, and that was because I had become stronger. Mikasa's jaw almost hit the ground when she heard him saying that. This guy had to be messing with her. She didn't believe a word about his training regimen. She was ready to respond furiously to him, but both her and Saitama saw the armored titan knocking down several titans that Commander Erwin baited against them. Plus, Erwin's right arm were being chopped off by a titan, but he screamed to the scouts with no fear. Advance. Eren is just ahead. Advance. He pointed his swords towards Eren's direction. Eren, I quote MCOMI before she ended her phrase. Saitama was long gone and took Eren away from Bertholdt by just ripping the clothes around him. You're all right. I got you, Eren, the hero said with a blank expression. Mikasa rushed to them but didn't notice the titan behind and grabbed her. He was squeezing her in his hand, but Jean came to her rescue. Mikasa, you piece of shit. Let her go. He pushed the blades deep within the titan's eyes, forcing him to let her go. But Saitama catch her with an inhuman speed and placed her next to Eren. All soldiers retreat. Erwin had escaped from the titan but lost an arm. The scouts were retreating, but a big amount of them were aided by the titans. Armin spotted Eren, Mikasa and Saitama back in the deep fog. Eren, Mikasa, Saitama. Eren, Mikasa was badly injured from the titan that tried to squeeze her like a bug. Saitama pointed with his finger an incoming titan and said, wow, that one must like jokes. Eren and Mikasa shifted their gazes and saw the titan Saitama was talking about. Eren paralyzed from what he witnessed. His mother killer, the one and only smiling titan. Jean's gaze shifted towards the armored titan and mumbled on the horse. Damn that Reiner. He's tossing titans like a madman. Reiner tossed another one like a rag doll. Ymir transformed into her titan form and run towards Saitama. She thought in her mind while running to him, "This is all your fault. It's you who screwed up my entire plan. You pitiful hero." Saitama noticed and dodged her shard teeth. He shifted his head to Mikasa and said, "I'm leaving that smiling one for you. I will tame that beast called Ymir." Mikasa understood and shook her head in agreement, even though she still didn't trust him. The hero was the first one who witnessed Ymir's transformation there. Historia and Connie were together on the same horse and spotted Ymir fighting Saitama. Historia shouted, "Ymir, Connie, that way." Connie gave a positive nod and headed to Ymir and Saitama. Erwin were deadly injured. He lost an arm and the flinching pain was horrible. A scout ran towards him and said, "Commander." Erwin held his ripped off arm and replied, "I can always be replaced. More importantly, find Eren and retreat. Time is of the essence." The scout he was talking to got his head ate by a titan in front of Erwin. The commander remained silent as he watched the scout being eaten alive. The smiling titan extended his hand to grab Eren, but Hands blocked it with his sword and cut one of the smiling titan's fingers. "What are the odds of this? Check it out, you two. You just watch. I'm about to avenge your mother and butcher the shit out of this." He flew off onto smiling titan to avenge Eren's mother Carla. Eren screamed in desperation. Hands, Jean and Armin ride their horses to aid Hands. "Give the old man backup." "Huh?" Yeager tossed another 2 titans to Jean and Armin, blocking their path to Eren and Mikasa. Armin got even more frustrated and his attention turned towards the armored titan. "Yeager, what's he doing? Does he not care if Eren is eaten?" Jean felt determined and shouted to the titans, "Don't get in our way, you big sack of shit." Saitama was now watching all this massacre around him. He never had seen something so gore into his world. But he wasn't afraid. Instead, the hero saw how fast Ymir was in a failed attempt to eat him, and said with his fists clenched towards her, and with a small smirk planted on his face, "You've gone and gotten my hopes up." He started walking near her. "Don't disappoint me now." Historia intervened and shouted again, "Ymir, he's not our enemy." Ymir thought from inside her titan nape, "Damn it, what am I supposed to do? If I can't count on Yeager, should I surrender to this hero and try to survive?" She didn't attack him. The opposite happened. She was walking backwards to avoid him. But what happens after that? Even if I can somehow live through all this, there's no avoiding the hell that's to come trapped inside the walls. Saitama shifted his gaze at Historia and asked, "You won't let me fight her, will you?" Historia said to him with an angry expression, "Instead of fighting each other, go help the others." "You, hero, that's right, hero. Everyone is dying on the battlefield right now and you care about fighting Ymir for no reason." Saitama's expression turned into a boredom one and said, "Okay, maybe some other time, I guess." He waved Ymir and Historia while he jumped on a titan and turned him into nothing with a normal punch. The blood of the titan was vaporizing from all over Saitama's suit. "Thank God I won't have to clean that." Ymir still thinking about it. "Now's my only chance to hand Historia over to their side. I won't be able to protect her alone, no matter how hard I try. Perhaps that Saitama might be the one to keep her safe. The guy is a joke, but his strength is unimaginable." Historia landed upon Ymir Titan's head with her gear. Connie was worried about it and shouted nervously, "Krista." Historia shifted her attention to her comrade and replied, "Connie, that's wrong. My name is Historia." She turned her head forward to talk with Ymir. "Hey, Ymir, why was it you were trying to take me away? You said it was to save yourself, but was that a lie?" "No, it has to be." "Why? Why did you do it?" Ymir's titan only grinned a little bit to her. "For me, to protect me again." Connie warned them, "It's a titan." Historia's face was purely serious and prepared. She replied to Ymir, "Ymir, you're the one who said it, so listen to yourself. Stop living for other people. From now on, let's live for nobody but ourselves." Historia continued her encouraging speech. "It's strange, really. When I'm with you, no matter how screwed up it gets, I'm not afraid." Historia launched herself against the titan. She did some beautiful mid-air acrobatics and successfully cut his nape. Hands was still fighting the smiling titan to avenge Eren's mother. Eren said to Mikasa while he were crawling on the ground, "Don't, Mikasa. You're injured. Untie my hands." She recalled baffled Hands. Eren wanted to end this once and for all. For his mother's sake. He screamed to her, "Hurry up. I've gotta be the one to do it." Hands battle cried to the smiling titan and cut off one of his ankles. "Who said I was done with you?" Mikasa untied Eren's hands. He stood up focused and said, "That one's mine." Mikasa replied to him with a scared tone, "Eren, wait. We're trying to get you out of here." Eren walked past her and said to himself and Mikasa, "It's time to settle the score. Just watch." He bit in his hand but didn't transform into a titan. Only blood came out from the injury. Erwin saw more of the scouts being killed or eaten. One of them retorted at him. Commander, the armored one is it's coming. Saitama superhero landed front of one-armed Erwin. The commander had never felt so safe in his entire life. Saitama, at long last we need you to face off against the armored titan. He's ripping us apart with those tossing titans. Saitama saw Erwin were missing a hand. Damn, they got you really bad, man. Erwin gave a small smile to the hero and ordered, don't worry about me. Defend the scouts from the armored titan and stop him before he reach Eren. Saitama placed his red-gloved hand to Erwin's shoulder. Count on me, Erwin, the hero said and run straight to Eren. Eren was biting even more furiously now. Shit, what's wrong? He ripped off a piece of meat from his own flesh with his teeth. Armin was trying to protect the unconscious Jean who had been knocked down by a titan. Armin was screaming in agony. Eren threw away the last titan and begun running towards Eren, but a bald man stand in front of him, blocking the path. Eren, what we do? It's Saitama. Berthold shouted to him and waited for a reaction. Saitama had a serious face on and said, since you two didn't tell me a thing about your boss, would you mind if I get a little bit serious? Huh? Berthold wasn't able to understand what Saitama meant by that. He demanded to Eren, smash him like a bug. Riener's foot slammed down upon him, but before it reached Saitama, both him and Berthold heard, killer move, serious push. Saitama didn't want to hurt Eren or Berthold, but he knew they are the bad guys. He had to do something to stop them. He pushed with his right palm armored titan's foot, sending Eren with Berthold on his shoulder more than 300 meters away. The hero saw them disappearing into the distance and thought, I hold it back as much as I could, now you two better stay put. Saitama changed his gaze towards Eren and Mikasa to see hands being eaten. Eren were crying and laughing on the ground at the same time, and blaming himself for what happened. Eren almost lost it. Nothing changed. You haven't changed one bit, damn it. You're still as useless as you ever were. Nothing changed. He remembered his mom and spoke while crying on the ground. Mom, I still can't do anything at all. Mikasa spoke with tears in her irises too. Eren, he shifted his gaze to her. That's not true. Saitama was punching titans at the background behind them. Mikasa continued talking with an emotional expression. Eren, listen, I need to tell you something. She came closer to his face. You've always been at my side. Thank you. You showed me how to live with purpose. Thank you. And you wrapped this scarf around me. Thank you. The sun appeared behind the clouds and made it even more emotional for Mikasa and Eren, while Saitama was destroying the titans with ease. Eren stood up to face the smiling titan and said back to Mikasa, I'll wrap that around you as many times as you want, now and forever, as much as you want. Eren released a battle cry and punched smiling titan's giant palm. Suddenly the titans run towards the smiling one. Saitama was ready to slaughter another titan, but it ignored him and it run to smiling titan. Oh, there's one that quit. They all jumped upon smiling titan and ate him alive. Eren took Mikasa on his back and run away from the titans. Saitama saw them and run right next to them. Yo Eren, Mikasa, at least you two are alive. Mikasa said to the hero with a threatening expression. I have my eyes on you, Bal. Eren stopped her and replied, Mikasa, no. He's a hero, I knew it from the beginning. Saitama never betrayed us. He wanted information about their leader, just like I did. Eren, very well. Ymir said inside her mind, so that's how it is. That's why Eren was so desperate for Eren. Which means, even inside the walls, there's a future. Saitama, Eren and Mikasa saw Eren and Berthold coming from their left. Saitama deadpanned and retorted, damn it, I thought I sent them far enough. Eren thought in his mind about Eren. This is the worst. Why did the coordinate have to fall into the hands of the worst person imaginable? We've got to get it back. I can say, without a doubt, the one person in the world I wouldn't want to have it. Eren is ... you. Eren stopped walking and screamed, activating the coordinate power against Eren and Berthold. Get away from me, you bastards. I'll kill you all. All the other titans left smiling titan's corpse and ran straight forward to the armored titan. Eren thought, nervous, not good. Berthold, I can't protect Berthold like this. Eren got confused and asked himself, what? The titans? Armin came to rescue him and Mikasa. He brought a horse for them. Saitama didn't need a horse. All this running were a good workout for him. Eren, get on. Armin teared up a little and shouted, hurry. And Saitama, thank you for not betraying us. Saitama gave a dumb smile with his neutral expression on and responded to the blonde. Don't be stupid, I would never do that to you guys. The hero patted Armin's head before running next from the horses. Erwin stood up and ordered them to fully retreat by saying, don't let this chance escape. Full retreat. Ymir shifted her head behind to see Reiner and Berthold struggling against all the titans. She had to make a choice, Historia said Ymir. Connie shouted Ymir to retreat. Hey, ugly, what are you doing? We're heading back. Ymir patted slowly Historia's head and said as her titan formed to the blonde. I sorry. Historia only mumbled ha. Ymir run back to help Reiner and Bertholds. Historia shouted with a frustrated expression. Ymir, where are you going? Connie came next to Historia and said with a mad tone. Leave her. Historia answered to him but Ymir as they ended the conversation there and escaped. The few scouts that remained alive escaped successfully. Armin thought in his mind. In that moment, I couldn't understand the motivation behind Ymir's actions. But the armored titan didn't pursue us any further. Alongside with Eren and Mikasa's horse was Saitama staring the sky with a bored and kinda disappointed expression planted on his shiny head. I miss my world. I even miss Genos. Eren didn't said a word. He was only remembering Hans playing with him when he was a child. With reports declaring the possibility that Wall Rose has been breached, the citizens of Wall Rose were forced to take refuge in an underground city within Wall Sina. However, with more than half the population surviving off food stockpiled for emergency, rations would last at most for a week. Any longer than that, and people would turn on each other, stealing and killing to survive. To stop this from happening, within 1 week from the initial outset, authorities declared that Wall Rose was secure. As for our hero with the white cape and shiny head, he returned to speak with Captain Levi. At the Tross district, Levi and Pixis were talking to Erwin who was on his bed. Suddenly they heard a knock from the door. Levi declared, "It's Hange with Saitama." Come in. Hange came in with Saitama and Connie. Pardon the interruption. Erwin she saluted him and continued, I'm glad we came while you're here. Commander Pixis. Saitama found a bald old man just like him, except the hero wasn't even middle age. Hello, I'm Saitama. Pixis stared at the hero and asked Erwin with raised eyebrows. So this is Saitama you told me about earlier, huh? Erwin nodded to Pixis and let Hange continue. Good timing. This is. She stared Connie while he introduced himself to them. A scout from the 104th. Connie Springer. Hange declared to Erwin. Connie comes from Ragako village. Pixis asked the village the recent Titan invasion originated from. Yes, actually, I confirmed with him the findings of our investigation on the village. This only brings further credibility to that hypothesis. He's come to report. Jean, Armin, Eren and Mikasa were discussing about Eren's coordinate power and Saitama's infinite strength. Jean said to Eren, serious. It's a tough spot to be in, Eren and that hero Saitama. Whether or not all those people died for nothing. It all depends on you and him. If you are worth the price they paid, you better show it. They didn't wanted Saitama. Reiner must want only your power. We don't have time to waste. Eren stared at his palm and said, yeah, you're absolutely right. He clenched it into a fist. I've gotta do this. I'll control the Titans. I'll plug up Wall Maria. I'll capture Reiner and make him pay. With Saitama on our side, it will be no problem. That's what I've gotta do to atone for all those lives lost. Pixis asked with curiosity while Connie was showing them the picture of his family. Say again. The Titans responsible for this incident were the citizens of Ragako. Erwin, who had grown a small beard around his face, replied. In other words, the true identity of Titans. Saitama said with a boredom expression on his humans. Everyone stared at the hero before Hange rescript. We don't have proof yet. Levi was chilling on the chair at the corner of the room and asked. So, you're telling me I've spent all this time and energy running around and killing people. Is that right? Saitama nodded to him and responded to everyone. It was kinda obvious. When I first encountered those Titans, they had a similar look to humans, except for reproductive organs. They have none of those. Hange shifted her attention to him and answer. I said we don't have proof yet. Saitama, don't rush things, okay? The hero simply replied to her. After they left, it was now only Saitama, Levi and Erwin in the room. Erwin had a cold smile on his face and took both Saitama's and Levi's gazes. Erwin, Levi asked the commander about his weird reaction to this possible truth while Saitama was having his sights on them. Hey, tell me, the hell you smiling for? Erwin came back to reality and said to Levi and the caped hero. It's nothing. It's just... With this, we've taken one more step towards the truth. Levi showed disbelief and declared, just one step, huh? We'll run out of people before we learn the truth. It's not worth the cost. Saitama stood up, crossing his hands together and his faces turned serious. While I'm here, I told you I'll help regain what is yours, even if it takes to find the truth behind those monsters you call Titans. Levi gave a serious look back to Saitama and said, You and I have a long way to go. Hero. Erwin stared both of them with hope, awe and determination while he replied with a serious expression too. But it is a step towards the truth. One day, we'll break it down. This wall hiding the truth will fall. The scouts were staring at the horizon. Deep in their minds everyone knew they had a long way to go. First Hange and Moblet with the scouts, after them it was Sasha, Jean and Connie on a roof, next Mikasa and Armin. At the end, the last two ones who stare at the horizon determined is Eren and Saitama. Both had serious expressions planted on their faces. On top of wall Maria is the Beast Titan with his nape opened and the unknown shifter moving his glasses. He replied, "Not yet, eh? In the world of One Punch Man, you are all fixed up, and I installed some new upgrades in your body. What are you planning to do now? Thanks for everything, Dr. Cusino. First off all, I'll find my sensei. Smoke signal. You just try to steal some food, Sasha. I'll get Captain Levi to chop you up into nice bite-sized pieces," Jean declared to Sasha, and she replied with a disparaging tone, "I won't." Probably. Jean didn't hear that the way he wanted and asked, "Say what?" Eren retorted to them with a broom in his hands. "Hey, did you guys wipe the dust and dirt off your shoes before you came in?" Jean raised his right eyebrow and said, "Say what? No, we didn't. Can't you see all the stuff we're carrying?" The Titan shifter started arguing with Jean. "Do you seriously think that attitude will satisfy Captain Levi? If I hadn't personally given your sheets hospital corners this morning." Jean would not allow Brad Eren to get cocky any longer and shouted, "Quit nagging. Who are you? My mom." Mikasa and Historia walk inside the room with pieces of wood. Mikasa, who's holding an axe in her left hand, stated, "We're back." Armin came closer with a slightly sad expression and said, "Wait, were you just chopping firewood?" Mikasa shifted her head forward in answer to Armin, "Gotta stay in shape." Armin raised his right hand a little bit and reminded her about the Titan who grabbed her. "You got grabbed by a Titan. You should be in bed." Eren whispered next to Armin and told him, "I try to stop her, but she won't listen. I saw her doing sit-ups earlier." Jean got jealous and shouted to Eren furiously, "How dare you, you peeping Tom!" Armin walked right behind her and retorted, "Mikasa, you do know you're not a wild animal, right?" Sasha said something random, getting everyone's attentions. "It's almost like we're back in the cadet corps, except this time around is way much greater, mostly for me." Sasha blinked and blushed while she thought of something, or perhaps someone. Armin agreed with her and asked with curiosity, "Yeah, why do you figure we were chosen for the new Levi squad, though? Protecting Eren and Historia is such an important mission. I hope Saitama to stick with us in order to keep them both safe." Sasha swiftly put a potato inside her leather bag and responded to Armin, "Because we're talented, I assume. And I totally agree with you about." She exhaled and called his name once more. "Saitama." Armin changed subject with his hair covering his sides. "Sasha, what did you just put in your bag?" She figured out what he's talking about and shifted her gaze to him. "Nothing bread related." Everyone's gazes shifted towards Sasha and demanded her to put the vegetable back. Jean first and Connie followed after him. "Why, you? Give it back." Eren reminded them about the cleaning they had to do before Captain Levi returns. "Hey, focus. We gotta finish cleaning before the captain gets back." Levi and Saitama came inside the room. The hero waved at them behind the short commander. "Yo, hi everyone." Levi asked the teenagers about the stealed potato situation. "What's this commotion about?" Armin and Jean in the background were mad at Sasha and told her again, "Our food reserves are precious." "Cut the crap, potato girl." Levi placed his hand under the table. It had plenty fluffs and dust. "I'm quite sure I gave you enough time." Eren put his left hand upon his face with a disappointed and scared expression. Mikasa hold the axe a little bit tighter and stare the caped hero. Sasha is watching Saitama too, but for a different reason. She couldn't hold her happiness and laughed while her face turned red like tomato. Levi responded right after Sasha finished laughing. "Anyways, we'll discuss your lax cleaning job another time." Eren and Saitama. Hange is itching to get the experiment started. The captain took from both Saitama and Eren positive answers. "Alright. Oh, okay, but after that I need food. My stomach is killing me," the hero exclaimed to Levi and everyone else in the room. The first experiment was with Eren. They wanted to see if in the Titan form he could harden his skin like Annie. But his Titan form was different. He was skinny. He wasn't even 10 meters and his legs wasn't able to hold him. The attack Titan fall to the ground like he had ran into a marathon. Hands shout from a higher ground with Levi, Moblet and Saitama next to her. "What's wrong, Eren? Get up. The future of humanity is riding on you and Saitama. Get up, damn it," Levi said to Hange with "I don't give a damn" expression on his face. "Hey, Four Eyes, you should start with Saitama now cause Eren. He's not quite the same this time." He's not even 10 meters, and some of his body doesn't have muscle. Plus, Eren's ass is hanging out. Hands retorted to Levi and shouted to Eren. I can see that. Eren, can you still move? Give us a signal or something. Jean and Mikasa came to Eren. Mikasa jumped from her horse and shouted, Eren. Jean shout back to her Mikasa. Levi saw Mikasa running to Eren and declared, hey, that gloomy brat is acting on her own again. Time to think up a punishment. Hange got nervous and answered back to Levi before she and Moblet head down there to Eren. No, there's no signal. We're done with Eren, she shouted with a desperate tone. Eren. Levi's head shifted towards Saitama and exclaimed, it's your turn now, show us your priceless power. As you can see, we've got a long road ahead before we can use the Titan hardening ability to seal the wall. Saitama raised his finger and got Levi's and Armin's gazes. This hardening ability Eren has is similar to the little gizmo I accidentally broke. Levi answered the hero with a small nod and Armin spoke next to Saitama. It's the same thing, Saitama, but what you did back on the carriage. Well, nobody except you is able to do that. Levi shifted his head back down to Hange and the others. Strategically, it's not a bad plan. Instead of lugging tons of supplies, all we need is to get Eren there. With your brutal strength, we'll be able to accomplish our mission, Saitama. All depends on Eren and you. Hange said and ordered to the scouts. The experiment with Eren is over. The experiments with Saitama will now commence. She shook her head in excitement and shouted to the hero, Saitama, you're up next. The hero jumped and landed front of them and said with a neutral expression, yeah, I got it. I'm hungry, so let's get on with it. All the others except Hange stayed down with Saitama to give him instructions of what to do. You see those trees over there? Saitama nodded to her and she continued, I want you to punch one of them. All I want is to test your strength. Oh, okay. Hange flew back to Levi and Armin while everyone were watching from the distance. Saitama thought in his mind before launching his punch. Alright, here goes nothing. The hero punched the tree in with a single punch. It took more than 20 more trees flying several hundred meters into the air with their roots still attached to them. Everyone's jaws dropped by seeing such display of power. They're glad they have Saitama on their side. Hange screamed with a big smile on her face. Woohoo, success. You're a walking wrecking ball. Levi, did you saw what he just did? Captain Levi was not as shocked as everyone, especially Armin, who still didn't believe what they witnessed again. Like I told him, Armin. The captain's attention turned on the blonde and finished by saying, his brutal strength is a key that humanity will use to unlock many doors. We're not done here, Saitama. I have more tests for you. The hero said to Hange with chastity on his face. Fine, bring it so I can go eat. Hange placed her hands on Saitama's shoulder and whispered in his ear with a creepy smile. Can you lift the huge boulder over there for me? I have faith you can do it in no time. Saitama nodded to Hange and did as she ordered. The scouts around, excluding Eren, Mikasa and Levi, were clearing and blinking their eyes from Saitama's display. Can I let go now? Saitama had lifted the gigantic boulder one-handed and didn't break a sweat. The hero's face showed that he doesn't even care. Sasha and Connie watched from a safe spot with Eren in Mikasa's hands. All of them had different thoughts about the hero. He's even stronger than my Titan form, no doubt about it. Mikasa glared daggers at the bald hero. Saitama still hadn't gained her trust. Damn you. ... Go back to your own freak world, Baldy. That power, with him we'll be able to defeat Reiner and Bertholdt. Saitama. You're so handsome with that cute and innocent face of yours. You will be mine, just like the precious meat they hiding in the cellars. Yes, you can throw it away. She shouted with blushed cheeks to Saitama and reply again. And now the hot stuff. Heta, I want you to break Annie's crystal. Levi heard that and decided to prevent Four Eyes. Oi, Four Eyes. It's too early for that. Keep it inside of the overthinking brain of yours. Hange sighed and responded back to Saitama. You heard him. The experiments are over for today. Go fill your stomach. The caped Baldy scratched his head and walked to Eren and the others. Let's go eat, everyone. Don't you see? Eren is exhausted, Baldy. Mikasa shifted her gaze to Eren and head back with him. All a while past 2. Sorry for leaving you, but you're amazing, Saitama. Connie followed right after Eren and Mikasa. I can come with you, if why you don't mind. Saitama gave Sasha a small smirk on his goofy face and said, come on, Sasha, stop babbling. Of course you can come for lunch with me. Saitama began walking next to Sasha, but Levi stood in their way. Don't be late. Erwin want you to discuss something. Saitama nodded to the short captain and him with Sasha continued their way back to eat. In the One-Punch-Man world, Genos Pov, thanks to Dr. Cusino, I got repaired back to my normal state. But I have lack of knowledge about Sensei's location. I must head back to the Hero Association and ask for help. I need some S-class heroes to assist me in order to find Sensei. I don't want to admit it, but that god being could be the only way to get me where sensei is. Me and the other S classes. I reached the HQ, but it wasn't anyone there. Even the streets were silent, not even a single citizen. Dr. Cusino was right. All the living organisms had been vanished. It must be that God's doing for all this. I'm running out of options. I need to find that God and negotiate with him. It's the only way. I know the exact place to look for him. At the scene of crime he will look for Cat Girl's dead body. I must go there now. Accelerate. Genos left the abandoned city and flew with his fire cannon hands towards where they were fighting God. Saitama and Sasha sat next to each other front of the table and start devouring pieces of bread and cooked potatoes. Sasha's heartbeats increased speed and she crawled closer to the hero. Saitama, I have something to tell you. She blushed to him while they made eye contact. Yes, Sasha, I need to tell you something too. Sasha thought he would confess his love for her, but Saitama had a neutral expression and said, I should tell you more about me, where I came from and how I ended up here. Sasha asked the caped baldy with huge awe. Tell me about it. Captain Levi observing them in a stalking way, since Erwin wanted to speak with Saitama. He heard their conversation from a corner. I became a hero long time ago in my world after I completed a training routine for 3 years, but I became too strong. Regardless of fear or joy, or anger, I can't feel it slowly. I'm pretty sure this happened while I was gaining strength, and I lost something important as a human being. My feelings, that is, Sasha. The caped hero exclaimed. Sasha's eyes widened in awe while she couldn't take them off Saitama. The hero replied, tapping his chin. I am a hero, purely as a hobby. In other words, as long as I am happy, that is enough for me. This will never change. Doesn't matter if I'm in a different world or not. Sasha grabbed his attention, stiffening a giggle towards him. What is it, Sasha? Do I have a mosquito on my head? She responded with a lit bit of shiver befalling her. And no, it's just your kindness I'd yet to learn, Saitama. Saitama raised an eyebrow and replied, looking next to him as Sasha's giggling came to a halt as she gazed inside his blank eyes. Her face turned bright red again. Are you all right? You acting different than the others? The hero exclaimed and finished what he's saying. At least you didn't try to decapitate me. Saitama exhaled. I have a disciple too, back to my own world. His name's Genos and he's half human, half robot. Cyborg, that is, as I noticed you people have a huge lack of technology, but I'm not into those fancy weapons either. I only use my punches. Saitama retorted while Sasha nodded to him. Hey, Saitama, I still didn't told you what I wanted, she said to him. An idea came in her mind. Why, you know what? I'll demonstrate. Her lips came closer to Saitama's. I lost everything, cause of the Titans, but now you're a light that leads me home again, Sasha said, glaring at his eyes with a shade of red on her face. Saitama took a few seconds to process this. Sasha continued. Why, you said that you came from another world, right? She asked the hero while she biting her lips. Why, yeah. I fell from the sky and ended up here. I wandered the lands a little bit and then I saw the wall. Sasha's determination had reached its climax. Then how about we'll let our worlds collide? They shared a kiss. Saitama didn't resist to her. He still had the neutral expression though. Sasha hugged the hero at the same time she were kissing him. Levi saw them behind the corner. Looky, even Mr. has a girlfriend now. Captain mumbled to himself. Sasha unleashed her lips from Saitama's and her gaze faced the table with embarrassment. Saitama, low, he cut her off. Saitama's expression changed into a serious one. I know, but my feelings, like I told you before, are almost completely numb. If I can satisfy you like this, so be it. I just don't want to hurt your feelings accidentally, he stated to her WTH chastity. Sasha shifted her head towards to him with red cheeks once more. I will honor thee. You are my hero, Saitama, she replied to him while trembling. Saitama patted her head gently and made the tremble fade away. I'll try my best to keep you happy, Sasha. She smiled towards the caped baldy. Suddenly they heard a voice from behind them. Mind telling me what the hell is going on here? Both hero and potato girl turned their heads to the source of the voice. Sasha's eyes widened in shock as she saw who the voice belonged to. Quickly stood up from her chair and standing at attention, she saluted. Captain Levi, sir. What are you doing here? She greeted their captain. Calm down, Brad, I didn't came for you, Levi said, turning to face Saitama. I couldn't help but to overhear your conversation. Saitama, I gave you enough time. Erwin is waiting for you, this way. Levi rescripted and pointed the way for Saitama. Sasha, I'll see you later, Saitama replied to her. Let's go, he stated, and wailing past them, heading at Erwin's direction. At the Tross district. I see. Another failure with Eren. Levi shifted his gaze to Erwin. Not with this guy though. He managed to punch a tree several hundred meters into the air, with the roots still attached to the tree. And there's more. Due to the impact of his punch, even more trees were sent flying. along with their roots too. Saitama shaking his head up and down to them. I'm telling you, this guy is capable of things we cannot possibly imagine. Erwin, have faith in him. Rubbing his temples, Erwin spoke up. I do have faith in him. I saw what he did to the Titans when we were pursuing the armored Titan to rescue Eren. I even witnessed his unreal speed. Am I right, Saitama? Erwin asked the hero, cocking his eyebrow. Yep, these Titans are pretty weak. Every single one of them explode on impact with my punches. Erwin's expression turned serious. It's good to have a miracle like you, Saitama. But if the plan with Eren would have worked out, we could have plugged the hole in Shiganshina district in less than a day. Levi's gaze shifted to one-handed Erwin. It's because we lack information. Might be a different story if there was a book about the hardening ability. But to think I would ever hear this coming out of my mouth. I think it's safe to say Saitama can pretty much take on anything thrown at him, including Titans and huge objects that weigh tons. I forgot to inform you about the second experiment Hange did with him. The captain stated, shaking his head. He lifted a massive boulder, so big that even Eren's Titan form would have problem lifting it. One-handed too. Saitama nodded and let Levi continue with another subject. But we have Krista too. No, Historia Rias. Maybe we learn about the wall through her. Levi asked Erwin. Saitama scratched his cheek. I read the entire report about her upbringing. She's the illegitimate daughter of Lord Rias, and it's by no means a happy story. Erwin replied, so she's someone special. Saitama holded his chin in curiosity. That's one way to summarize it, Saitama. But the real mystery here is why a mere regional lord would know the secrets of the wall. Erwin stated. Saitama was bored and wanted to go get some sleep. But the commander stopped him from leaving. Saitama, in the incident with Eren, we lost dozens of soldiers to rescue him. What I mean is Saitama cut him off. I apologize. Both Levi and Erwin looked Saitama with raised eyebrows. Come again, they said in union. I apologize for my actions. I didn't think them through and people died because of it. As a hero I prefer to do things alone. If it's possible, leave me out of any business involving lots of people and groups. I don't want to be responsible for this ever again, Saitama declared, his eyes serious and his fist clenched tightly. Erwin nodded his head, agreed. Saitama, it wasn't entirely your fault, although there is few things I must know. First, how far are you willing to go to assure humanity's survival? He asked. Levi looked at Erwin and then back at Saitama, curious as to what the hero's answer would be. If people won't get hurt, then I'm in, Saitama said. But people will get hurt, Erwin answered, placing his hand on the table and looking at the window. Before you act, people were already dying from the Titans. As we speak, someone is currently getting murdered in the lower levels of Walsina, or dying because of a disease or starvation. People die and get hurt every day. Saitama, you cannot blame yourself for not being able to save everyone. Erwin spoke determined. But what you can do is to secure a better tomorrow for the people who are still alive as we speak. Erwin placed his hand on Saitama's shoulder and continued. You can't be in several places at the same time. But remember this, what you did to protect and helped us rescuing Eren saved thousands of lives. Sometimes the death of 10 is enough to prevent the death of 100. The commander replied. Levi stared at Erwin. Now the second thing I must know. Give us some details about yourself. Saitama sighed. Fine, the hero started. After 3 years of hard hero training I became so powerful, no one can beat me. I'm the hero I dreamed of being, but I'm seeing my hero work as a hobby. Age of 25 years old. Although I'm troubled by my invincibility, I lost my own feelings. My heart feels so empty inside. Levi cut him off. Not that empty, Saitama. I saw what you did with Sasha Browse, you little lovebirds. Saitama looked away and didn't answer to Captain's reply. Erwin took an empty document and write everything about the invincible hero. I lost all of my hair cause of my 3 years intense training. I cannot find a worthy opponent to have a challenge with. I did actually before I arrive in your world, but he's gone now. I guess. Erwin holded the document and started reading out loud. Name, Saitama. Age, 25. Height, 175 centimeters. He appeared seemingly from the sky. He has inhuman strength. He is able to punch titans and turn them into shreds. His other capabilities consists of jumping to heights physically and scientifically impossible. The commander switched page and read more. Saitama is a bald, ordinary-looking man with thin, but well-built physique and of average height and weight. He claims to have lost all of his hair suddenly and prematurely as a result of the toll taken on his body by his intense hero training. Saitama is the most powerful hero alive. Saitama faces a self-imposed existential crisis, as he is now too powerful to gain any thrill from his deeds. Saitama has taken his hero work as a hobby. He is constantly searching for an opponent that can challenge him. The lack of any such opponents had led him to suffer from an existential crisis, and he claims that his ability to feel most of the emotions has dulled considerably. It seems only love for female individuals, procreating and joy for food has remained in the hero's emotion depository. The commander exhaled in satisfaction. You had to add the part with the female individuals, Saitama asked with a blank expression planted on his face. Yes, every information is really important, Saitama. The hero yawned loud, placing a hand on his mouth. Can I go sleep now? Both Erwin and Levi nodded. Saitama left the room tired. In his way back he saw Sasha and Jean on two towers looking out for any threats. Sasha smiled and waved at the hero. Oh, Sasha, Saitama waved back. Jean smacked his forehead in disbelief. Geez, potato girl. Saitama woke up the next day to see Sasha sleeping right next to him. The hero yawned. Awa, well, she needs some sleep too. Few minutes after, Eren greeted Saitama and woke up Sasha. Hange arrived to tell them about Pastor Nick's murder. I figured the church would want to deal with Nick since he was cooperating with the scouts. Sasha winked to Saitama with both hands resting her head. Hange continued, that's why I hid his identity and had him stay in the barracks, but to think they would use soldiers to kill him. I was too careless. It's entirely my fault. Hange stated. Levi didn't care much and drank a bit of his black tea. The military police. Did they torture Pastor Nick just to find out what information he spilled to us? Armin said, taking everyone's gazes. Most likely, Levi replied, but it was the interior military police, which means there's something more behind it. So how many nails did Nick have ripped off? The captain asked Hange. Ho, you saw, right? How many? Levi demanded, shifting his head to Hange. I only caught a glimpse of him, but all the nails that I could see. Levi spoke up with serious expression. People that talk after one. If they don't, peeling more won't make a difference. He shifted his gaze forward. Pastor Nick. I thought he was an idiot, but he didn't turn away from what he believed, all the way till the end. Hange clenched her hand on the couch. She had it on. In other words, they have no idea we've caught wind of the Rias family. They will get surprised to see Saitama's power too. Though, someone in the government is up to no good, and their eyes are fixed on us. Levi rescripted. Nifa came inside and said, Captain Levi, a message from Commander Erwin. He opened the letter as Nifa continued informing him. I went to tell him about Pastor Nick, but he sent me off with this. Levi's eyes widened slightly. Everyone, out. We leave now, including you, Saitama. The hero answered. Oh, okay. Levi finished by saying, leave no trace we were here. The hero gave a goofy expression planted on his face. Soldiers of the military police broke the door with rifles equipped. No one was in the house though. That was close. If we hadn't left right then, what would have happened to us? Connie asked himself, but Saitama gave him the answer. I would just karate chop their necks. Simple. Armin, confused, shifted his gaze to Levi. But why? What would make Commander Erwin? Levi looked down while everyone's carrying a leather backpack, except Saitama. New orders came from the government. There's been a freeze on all scout regiment activity outside the wall. They're telling us to hand over Eren, Saitama and Historia. Nifa joined the conversation by the way, right after he gave me the message. ... The military police came for him. Nifa ended her words. Hange replied. That's treating him like some sort of criminal, she exclaimed. Levi continued to say someone's not working from the shadows anymore. They're moving for all eyes to see. Hange shifted her head towards Captain Levi. To go that far to protect the wall's secrets. What's more, why do they want us to hand over Eren, Saitama and Historia? How they even know about Saitama? They want them not to kill, but for them to obtain. She placed her hand on her chin curiously. Levi didn't give a damn about it. Who knows? Anyways, it's clear the enemy is after these three. Saitama can deal with them easily, but loitering around here is dangerous for Eren and Historia. We're moving them to Trost district. Moblet asked him why. That's the same place Pastor Nick was killed. Levi's expression was serious and focused. It's worse to head towards the interior. With Trost in a panic, it should be easy to slip in. And if somehow it comes down to it, we can use these in the city. He showed them the 3D maneuver gear next to his belt. True, Armin said, letting Levi continue. Plus, not knowing the enemy puts us in a tough spot. We need to find out who's behind this. Saitama scratched his armpits and asked, so, when can I go to the bathroom? Levi smacked his forehead and changed his attention to Hange. Hange, lend me some of your squad. Of course. All right, I'm going after Erwin. Moblet's with me. The rest of you will follow Levi. They said in union. Roger. Eren walked to Hange. She turned her gaze to face the Titan shifter. Here, I remembered a conversation between Ymir and Berthold. I didn't get time to tell you, but it's here. Hange took the letter. Alright, I'll take a look after it later. She left with Moblet following her on his horse. At the Tross district, Saitama WS right next to Eren and the others, Levi on the lead. The hero was watching the benches with all the delicious food on them. Well, that looks like a great piece of meat. Sasha nodded and stated to him with red cheeks. I know, right? Heta. Levi smacked his forehead. Oi, you two. Try not to walk in a cluster. We'll stand out. Saitama, just walk normal like Eren and Historia. Why is the royal family's flag hanging everywhere? Connie asked with curiosity. Oh, today must be the anniversary of the king's coronation. Once a year, they hand out a haul of rations. Oh, Saitama and Connie replied in union. Sasha shifted her head to Connie. I was talking to Saitama. Sorry, Connie responded to her. Two soldiers of the military police were standing on top of a wooden platform. One of them said loud at the crowded people around them. We'll begin handing out rations. King Fritz has heard of Tross District's hardship and will donate the royal family's reserves. That's enough for everyone. Line up orderly. Saitama mumbled to himself. King. Sasha collided her cheek with Saitama's, making him shook his gaze at her. I have a friend of mine named King back to my world. The hero stated. Wow, I hope he's as generous as that king here. Saitama took a few seconds to process this. Yeah, kinda. He's got more than he knows what to do with. People are weak, especially when baited with food. Levi stated honestly. Some minutes passed. Levi and Saitama knew something was off. You know they coming behind us with a carriage, right? Saitama replied to Levi. The captain glared behind. Watch out. Behind us. A carriage ran through the street. Three guys from the carriage grabbed Eren, Historia and Saitama, placing them at the back of the carriage. Krista, Eren, Saitama, Sasha shouted for her bald beloved. Saitama's pav. Levi told me to let those ugly dudes capture me so the plan can be a success. Well, I can break free from those ropes easily, but I don't mind. Except for a guy trying to rape me like that blonde Armin. Poor boy. That dude doesn't even know he's touching a male. Saitama was captured to a chair next to Jean and stared Armin being touched to his private areas by an ugly middle-aged man. I'm just dying to hear your cute little voice. Armin begun getting horrified and stared at Saitama and Jean, with tears in his eyes. Jean closed his eyes and turned his gaze away. That is why I didn't want to go through this shit a second time. Screw being his body double. The pervert man continued. She's more muscular than I expected. How's it going inside? Levi asked Mikasa while he's staring somewhere else. If we don't hurry, they'll see through Armin's disguise. And I feel bad for him, Mikasa replied, making Levi to shift his gaze towards her. I see. What about Saitama? The baldy is just fine. If he stays put and won't show his power, we're all good anyways. How is your leg? Any better? Levi figured out something's off about her. Are you trying to avoid the conversation about Saitama? Mikasa looked away with a furious expression and gritting her teeth. Oi, calm down, he won't cause any trouble. Plus he's part of our squad. With the strength and speed he possesses, he's a miracle for humanity. You better get along with him. With one way or another. No response from Mikasa. About the leg, I can move well enough. It's not bad. More importantly, these kidnappers. They're nothing but amateurs. I could just order Saitama to punch them out of existence, but he must stay in cover. They doesn't know about his crazy powers. They'll try to use him as a test subject to confirm his invincibility probably. Mikasa mumbled with a dark expression, shadows covering her eyes. Yeah, invincibility. She had a flashback from when she fought him and the hero shattered her blades into pieces with only his teeth. Why would they be using guys like this? Levi's words make her snap out of it. The captain stood up. You can handle the rest on your own. I'm heading for Eren. Once you've dealt with the trash, come and meet up with me. Roger, Mikasa said to Levi. One more thing. I'll tell you, just in case. Tell Saitama and the others, too. Saitama spotted Mikasa hiding behind a crate box. Finally, I got bored pretending that I'm captured. Some random middle-aged men walked near the three of them. One of them asked, you're sure? Without a doubt, it's Krista, Eren and that Saitama. Yes, they match the description. Especially Saitama. That yellow suit is really unique in places like this. Huh? Where's the guard? Mikasa popped out of her hiding spot and kicked one of the dude's face. She pushed another one on the floor. What the? Jean and Armin stood up from their chairs and run to assist Mikasa. Saitama knew Mikasa, Connie and Sasha had everything under control. Mikasa kicked violently another guy, forcing his body to spin around the air few times before falling on the ground. Don't you dare move, Jean said, while he's tying up one of them and Armin another one. Connie, is it really just the four of them? Mikasa asked. Connie replied back. Yeah, that's it. The bald middle-aged guy Mikasa had pinned to the ground attempted to shoot her with his pistol, but Sasha shot an arrow on his handgun. If you move again, who knows where I'll hit. Saitama send a thumbs up to Sasha with his neutral expression. Nice aim, Sasha. Thanks, Saitama. Alright, first, we tie these guys up, then we meet up with the captain. Mikasa rescripted. What do you mean? Armin retorted. Captain's orders, and he sends a message, too. Levi and Nifa were staring from a rooftop. Captain, well, she took a look at the street. The road is crowded, but nothing unusual. It's not much farther to Commander Pixis. How's the body double mission? A success, Levi said, making Nifa shift her gaze towards him. And yet, you don't look that happy. No, he thought in his mind. Something is wrong. The military police can't be behind this. They're far too arrogant. They wouldn't use amateurs. This is more like assuming the wagon was being followed, and the group was trailing their target. Captain, she took his attention. The wagon's almost moving again. Nifa, have you heard about Kenny the Ripper, the mass murderer in the capital? The one that slit the throats of over 100 military police. That's just an urban legend from years ago, right? Levi said with a calm expression to her. He is real, and the stories are true. I lived with him for a while when I was a kid. She showed considerable disbelief and asked, what? Why would you even say that? This isn't the time to be making jokes. Levi finally understood. That's right, he wouldn't care about using amateurs. If a group was trailing their target, it would be from both rear angles, and a place high up, with a view. A stranger who's wearing a brown fedora hat, and with two handguns aimed at Levi and Nifa from behind them on the roof. Nifa, Levi ducked the last second, but Nifa was dead, with a bullet planted into her brain. Levi hidden behind the chimney of the house, he stared frustrated Nifa's dead body. Yo, Levi, you grown any yet? The stranger began walking slowly on the roof. While he reloaded his guns, more of his squad flew to eliminate Levi. The stranger with the hat used his maneuver gear to launch himself into the air and aim Levi from the other side. He dropped his hat on accident. Oh, it don't look like you changed at all, he retorted while he was upside down, his pistols aiming Levi. The captain screamed loud the stranger's name. Kenny, Kenny, Levi screamed, throwing one of his blades on Kenny. The old man dodged it and attempted to shot Levi's brains out. Kaboom! Levi spotted Kenny's group coming towards him. The captain hissed in frustration and jumped down from the roof, just in time to dodge the rain of bullets behind him. Levi saw the wagon with Eren and Historia got hijacked. He propelled himself towards the wagon, but 3 of Kenny's men prevented him from doing so. He launched backwards to avoid their bullets. Levi thought in his mind while they chasing and shooting at him. Shit, they predicted every last one of our movements. Damn it, it was a mistake. If Saitama was here right now, he could defeat those jackasses with ease. He dodged another shot from Kenny's pistols. Kenny, what the hell is he doing in the military police? Kenny's men attempted to shot Levi, but he dodged the bullets with his ODM gear skills and flew in a bar. They only got the top of his left eye bloody. It's Levi, of the Scouts, a customer said. The barman with a mustache replied to Levi. Welcome to our establishment. Levi hidden under the bar counter while Kenny had a cocky behavior. Oof, Kenny mumbled. Shit, if Saitama won't show up, I'll lose most of my team, Eren and Historia too. Levi wiped the blood from his eye. Kenny's expression was confident and rude. Ain't that the damnedest thing? I smell a filthy rat coming from this bar. Meaning Levi, Kenny continued. Come out, you little rodent. Kenny acted ridiculous. He took a cowboy stance and jumped inside the bar, devaluing with his pistols. Found ya. The law has come to exterminate the vermin. Bang, bang. No response to hell. Ain't you here? Levi answered, grabbing Kenny's attention. Right here, Kenny. It's been a while. Never thought you'd still be alive. The captain asked him what happened to slaughtering the military police. Now you're one of them. Adults do plenty of things a kid like you can't understand. Oops, my bad. You're just so tiny, it's hard to believe you're older now. Kenny insulted Levi cause of his short height and continued. I've been looking forward to seeing you and recently a friend of yours in action too. Kenny exclaimed with interest. What fry, how you knew about him? Levi, know he's talking about Saitama. The news spread it everywhere, Levi, even in darkest corners of Wall Sina. So that bald friend of yours can punch titans to death, huh? None of your business, Kenny. Furthermore, if he was here, you wouldn't be able to keep up with his inhuman speed. Even I going slower than him. Kenny gave a cocky smile. Is that so? I wanna see if that thick skull of his can handle a bullet straight in it. If you can't kill me, then you doesn't stand a chance against him, Kenny, Levi stated, making Kenny to change into a serious expression. You're right, Levi. Plus I never thought all those tricks I taught you would be helping you out like this. Didn't I ever tell you what happens to a cornered rat? Kenny continued, while Levi were listening under the counter. No matter which way you try to run, you'll get blasted from above. Hey, Levi. Kenny threw a chair to the bar counter, making several bottles to break. Levi didn't react. He was lost in his thoughts. There's gotta be a reason you became a scout, and I think I know what it is. We had no choice but to survive in that garbage dump. It took all we had each day to keep living. And when we found out how big the world really was, you can bet it hurt like hell. But something saved us. Kenny grabbed another chair and continued, while he's aiming at Levi's direction. We'd found something we wanted to do. It's that simple. It's simple, but the truth is, the only thing that made our lives fulfilling was finding hobbies. Kenny exclaimed. Levi's mind thought about the hero. Saitama told them with Erwin, he's doing the hero work as a hobby. At least Saitama isn't a cold-blooded murderer. Hobbies? So is blowing the heads off my team another hobby of yours? Levi asked calmly. He moved a bottle to see Kenny's position. Yup. To achieve my grand goals, I'll kill as much as I have to, including that bald friend of yours. Kenny kept aiming to Levi and continued. You're no different. You kill when it benefits you, too. Kenny finished his words. Yeah, Levi mumbled, and shot Kenny with a rifle, but the chair protected him from taking damage. Kenny fell down, outside of the bar. Thanks, old man. Levi handed over the rifle to the barman and moved swiftly. Levi threw outside a chair for misleading one of Kenny's men. He shot the chair thinking it's Levi. A chair. Levi flew outside, launching the hook of his gear upon the man's chest. Two more men with their pistols shot towards Levi. What? Fire? Levi used the man's body as a shield in order to reach them. He sliced their chests with no hesitation and serious expression. Gunshots, Sasha replied with a nervous tone, making Saitama and Connie to shift their gazes to her. Huh? Connie asked from there. She responded and continued frustrated. I heard a bunch of shots, Sasha finished, while Saitama walked close to Jean and Mikasa. The hero jointed their conversation. You think something happened? Jean asked Mikasa most likely. She exclaimed, hey, you better show us the power you did against the Titan's hero. Jean declared to Saitama, if I can't avoid fighting humans, so be it. I cannot allow more deaths of innocent people. The caped hero clenched his fist tightly. That is the first time Mikasa agreed with Saitama by saying, indeed. Saitama shifted his shiny head towards her. Oh, she continued with a blank stare. The captain had this message for us, including you. From now on, we'll be fighting humans, too, and not just titans. Jean turned towards her. Huh? You mean? He didn't finish his question, but Mikasa with Saitama were gone. She flew away with her maneuver gear and Saitama followed her with his inhuman speed, leading him towards the direction of the gunshots. Kenny was faking he died on the floor. A female assassin of his squad appeared front of him. Captain, finally bit the dust. She asked, you moron, how would I answer that if I'm dead? Oh, he got me good. Forgot that bar owners are allowed to keep guns for their own self-defense. For a runt, he's sure grown up, Kenny stated, and wear his hat again. That's wonderful, the girl said with a blank expression. Huh? Like hell it is. My dream is getting further and further away. Kenny exclaimed. What if the bald one attempt to stop us? She raised an eyebrow and questioned him. Kenny gave a moderately smile. I would love to plant a bullet in his thick bald skull. Plus I have prepared my men for him. If he's truly invincible he will be able to resist against bullets, right? I don't believe that, Captain. I'm sure today is the day he will die, no matter who he is. The female assassin was sure about Saitama's death. We'll see about that, Kenny said, while he stood up smiling. Levi's squad, including the caped baldy who is running, flew closer to see the wagon with unconscious Eren and Historia on it. Hey, there goes Eren, Connie shouted. Captain, Armin said right after Connie. They saw Levi chasing the wagon, but a guy flew behind and aimed towards him. Before either of the two could react, the hero jumped out of nowhere and crippled the guy's neck with a single karate chop, causing him to hit hard on the ground. Jean and Mikasa saw the hero's amazing vertical jumping. Jean's mouth were considerably opened from Saitama's display. Mikasa sweat a little bit, but she's more focused on rescuing Eren and Historia. Nice act, Saitama. Now chase the wagon. Yes, sir, Mikasa answered to Levi. Saitama did the same but with a neutral expression. Okay, listen up. They're used to fighting other people. They already got 3 of ours. If we're gonna get those 2 back, you can't hesitate. Especially you, Saitama, Levi stated, turning his gaze towards the running hero. If you get the chance, you kill. Got it. Saitama's eyes turned serious, just like Mikasa's. I can cripple them pretty hard. The hero said. Roger, Mikasa said with a cold-hearted face. More assassins from Kenny's squad appeared from the right. It's him. Get him. 10 more flying assassins shot towards Saitama, but the hero dodged the bullets with ease. I'll go fight them. You can handle the wagon with Captain. The caped hero asked Mikasa. She nodded to him. After that he jumped front of one of the guys, slapping him and sending him 50 meters away on a roof, while his nose and some teeth broke from the impact with Saitama's red-gloved slap. Immediately all the other assassins followed Saitama. He led them away from Mikasa and the rest of his comrades. The hero stopped and waited for them to land. All 9 of them landed all around, surrounding the hero and aiming him with their handguns. Our boss told us to deal with you first, bald fucker. Saitama's eyes were covered by shadows. He didn't respond. One of the men replied, too scared to talk. You should, because you're a dead man now. You should stay where you belonged, freak. Wherever you came from. Saitama remembered what his captain said. If you get the chance, you kill. Got it? A third guy spoke with a cocky attitude. Yeah, we heard enough of your stupid hero deeds. This is where you die, pitiful baldy. They're all ready to pull the trigger. Any last words? Saitama shifted his shiny head forward with a goofy face. Tell me who's your boss before I break any of your bones accidentally. They shot in union. A huge cloud of smoke surrounded Saitama from the bullets making impact with his suit. Over in 2 seconds, that baldy will have multiple holes all over his body and in his head. He's done for. Let's head back to a sea. The third guy's phrase stopped and everyone got utter shocked. Saitama didn't move an inch from his spot and the bullets didn't even torn his yellow suit. You're loud, you should check that, Saitama stated, appearing in front of the third guy and send him 20 meters away into a house, by pushing the guy with only one finger. GHHTSK. FIREE. The second guy said to the rest of his team to shot the bald bastard down. Saitama this time dodged every single bullet and took them out one by one. You're too slow, man. He kicked one of them, sending him all the way against the wall. No, it can't be, another shouted. Little did the man know, he's next. Look, I'm holding back as much as I can to not kill you on accident, so quit being bad guys, will you? Saitama headbutted the guy, making his head bleed pretty bad. The rest of them used their gears to reach high ground. They all landed on top of some roofs. Saitama was nowhere to be found. You all saw what he just did. Everyone nodded, frightened. The bullets didn't even scratch him. One of them replied, no, there's no way. He's just super fast. I know even that's unnatural, but we got our orders from Kenny. Careful. Next to why Saitama replied to the guy while he's sitting next to him on the roof. That Kenny is your boss. Saitama, instead of an answer, got another bullet rain right behind him. But he could see the bullets flying behind him in slow motion. I'll take that as a yes, the hero declared. Enough, you bald bastard. Stop running and fight us to the death. Another one said after him. I got tired of this. He launched himself into the air with his guns equipped, searching for Saitama. If you're not coming, I'll go to you. Saitama appeared on mid-air right behind him. I'm right here. The hero karate slammed the guy into the ground. The rest of them battle cried in union and shot again. Saitama landed right front another one. Huh? I got you, bald bastard. You can't dodge from that distance. He shot exactly on Saitama's face. He and everyone else dropped their guns with fear and desperation befalling them. The bullet he shot Saitama with was shattered to the ground. He's the devil himself. Run. They fled away frightened. We must tell Kenny. Immediately. Saitama shifted his head towards where his allies were. I must hurry or I'll be late. The hero jumped and launched himself forward with a punch into the air. He saw the wagon with Eren and Historia still unconscious escaping through the gate, and Levi blocking Mikasa from going after them. Eren, she screamed in desperation. Levi saw Saitama flying towards the wagon. Saitama, chase them. Don't let them take Eren and Historia. Levi and the rest of his squad heard gunshots coming from the wagon. They knew Saitama begun fighting the guys on it. Few hours later, Levi had a conversation about the incident with the wagon, while Saitama were handling Kenny's men. Armin shot and killed a human on the wagon. I'll tell you why you pulled the trigger. Because your comrade was about to die. Armin, thanks to you getting blood on your hands, nobody on our squad ended up dead. Thank you, Levi stated, shifting his gaze towards Armin. Jean speak after that. Captain Levi, I thought it was wrong to be fighting other humans, and wrong for you to order us to do it. I was afraid to be hurting other people. But, I'm the one who was wrong. Next time, I'll shoot. Jean rescripted to his captain. I never said anything about who was right or wrong. I don't even know myself. Are you really the one in the wrong? Jean didn't answer. He only listened their captain's words. As for Eren and Historia, both will be alright. Saitama will handle those bastards that kidnapped them. Have faith in him, you too, Mikasa, Levi rebutted, making her to speak. I'm supposed to protect Eren, she said with a cold expression. Oi, what I told you. Saitama is an official member of our squad. Probably stronger than anyone in here, including Eren's Titan form, the Armored Titan and probably the Colossal Titan too. How can you be so sure, Captain? Connie asked with curiosity planted around his face. I know cause. He's strong. Levi stood up and changed subject, shifting towards their middle-aged hostage. Now then, it's about time we hear what he has to say. He pulled out the cravat from the man's mouth and he spoke instantly. Wait, I'm just an old man used for moving wagons around. The Mikasa cut him off. I've met this man once before. In the city, people were calling him boss. Yeah, I know. Demo Reeves, right. Levi stated. Tisk, we were just following orders the military police forced on us, and failed big time. They'll plunder the Reeves company for all that it's worth. They won't stop with me and my dumb son. They'll make sure all my employees die in so-called accidents, so you'll die without a fight, Levi stated, and continued. Tross should have collapsed by now, but it's persevered. That's because the Reeves company brings people and work together. But if the company was gone for good, just how few would survive the winter? Levi replied to him. Are you suggesting I team up with you? Demo asked Levi. We just need to know where Eren, Historia and Saitama are. If you're supplying the military police, we can figure something out. Levi replied to Demo. But can stop my city and employees from dying of starvation? He asked the captain. While he kneeled in front of him, Levi responded. I can't guarantee it. However, you can trust that we'll move towards that end. Demo thought about it. He was in. Demo was carrying 2 members of the military police with his carriage. Hey, are Levi and them actually there? One of them asked Demo. They are. I promised him I'd cooperate, so they let us go for some reason. Demo replied, and the carriage stopped. Are we there? One of the 2 military police members said, and pulled aside the curtain to only see Levi and his squad. Before he could react, Jean smacked him with the rifle's back. Reeves, you damn. Mikasa shut the second one. He didn't even finish his phrase. Sorry about that, pals, Demo said, while Levi nodded to him and took the military police members to gain information from them. After a bloody torture. Ready, Sans? Let's try again. This is tough for me, too, but I'll do my best to Hange opened the door with Levi, ready to torture him again. Rias is the true royal family. He cut her off. Erwin was staring at the window and thought. Saitama, hero, we counting on you. Demo was doing a cigarette confident. So much for trying not to stand out. Fledgel is taking forever, damn it. Kenny appeared behind Demo and shut his mouth with his hand. Merchants shouldn't be sellouts when it come to trust. He cutted Demo's throat, letting his body fall dead. Was it wise not to ask him where Levi or that Saitama is? The female assassin asked. Levi will show up even if we do nothing. As for that Saitama, he's no good. A tough opponent, Kenny said while he cleaning his knife. How do you know? She asked Kenny. First, because I raised Levi. And second, my men informed me about that Saitama. He's immune to bullets, possesses super speed, super strength, and he's able to kill anyone he wants to. The girl raised her eyebrows in confusion. Then how you'll stop that invincible enemy? Kenny stared her with a serious expression planted on his face. I don't know yet, but my men told me something about him. He's a goofy person. Easy to manipulate his mind. I'll leave that to Rod, Kenny replied, and start walking away with her. Fledgel, who was hidden in a dark ditch, heard the entire conversation. He was crying and fear befall him. The true royal successor, is Historia. Armin asked Hange. In other words, Eren, Historia and Saitama are likely wherever Rodriguez is. Hange rebutted to them. That's him. Moblet answered to them. With Eren, Historia and Saitama. Historia is kneeled front of a middle-aged man with a mustache. Historia. He hugged her tightly and continued, I'm sorry for everything. Historia inhaled in his hug, while Eren was tied up and staring them. I give up. Let me go, please. Historia and Rod heard a man from Kenny's squad screaming and crying outside of the door. What is going on out there? Rod replied. Historia stared at the door while she's in Rod's hug. The door peeled off from the wall and fall into the room, revealing Saitama holding one of Kenny's men's arm in his iron grip. I give up. I give up. You're crushing my hand. Saitama dropped a small sweat and asked, Huh? You're kidding, right? Kenny's assassin didn't care about Rod and Historia anymore. He just wanted to live from this point. I give up for real. I'm sorry. The man's crying and begging Saitama to let go of his hand. I'm sorry for trying to kill you. He's in Saitama's mercy. Oh, Historia, Eren, I found you. So this is where they brought you, huh? Saitama let go of the guy's hand and walked into the room. Who are you? The hero asked Rod with a boredom expression. I'm Historia's father Rodriguez. I assume you're the guy I heard so much about. Saitama right. Rod's gaze was serious while he questioned the hero. Yep, and I'm here to rescue Eren and Historia. Saitama shifted his head towards Eren, who's laying on the ground half unconscious. Saitama, wait. Me and my father reunited for the first time after many years. You don't want to hurt us. Historia shouted to Saitama, making him think about it. If you say so, alright then, but I dealed with the other dudes from the wagon. They got some broken bones, they'll live though. Rod, hearing those words, exhaled in relief and stated to Historia, please forgive me for everything. In order to protect you, I had no other choice. Father, Historia mumbled. I was always thinking about you. I've always dreamed of the day I could hold you like this. Saitama cut Rod off. That's true, cause it's been a long time to meet again, huh? Saitama said, and Historia nodded to him. Rod continued. Listen, Saitama, Historia is special. Rod shifted his gaze to his daughter. You're special. Royal blood runs through you. Historia released tears and asked it. Does? That's right, Historia. Our Rias family is the true royal line. And because you're special, you're the one and only person who can save all of humanity. Saitama scratched his chin. Royal line. She's special. Huh? That's what is going on. So she's some sort of queen. Saitama stated with a goofy smirk on his face. Yes, she is, and you should kneel for her majesty. Rod ordered him, but the hero picked him nose. No, I don't think a child is hers ready for a throne. It's like a kid taking car license. Think about it, it's stupid. If Genos was here, he would write his sensei's words of wisdom. Father, Historia replied and spoke once more. You're wrong about one thing. I'm not the person who will save all of humanity. He is. If you know what Saitama can do, you'll be saying that to him by now. She exclaimed, grabbing her father's attention. Not even in the slightest. Historia, I know what he's capable of. They informed me about him. Saitama cut him off again. I'm right here, you know. Rod nodded and resumed. Saitama, I'm suggesting you to be Historia's loyal protector. With your unbelievable strength, nobody will fight against her. He rescripted towards the hero. I'm a hero, saving innocents from monsters and bad guys. You can say I'm protecting you and Eren all the time, Historia. Saitama stated to the blonde with a neutral expression. I'm glad to hear that, Saitama. Instead of fighting against us, come with us. I would never hurt my precious daughter, I swear. Rod swore to the hero. Hey, what about Eren over here? Saitama said with a moderately worried face. He's coming with us, of course. Rod answered to the caped baldy. Alright, let's go then. Saitama said and scratched his left armpit. Now, let us go, Historia. To the place all began. He lifted her up and resumed, turning his gaze towards Saitama. Come with us, hero. In the cell with Sans and Hange. After he got scummed and betrayed the king, Sans fell to his knees in the cell. His pal Ralph hated Hange the most. Why, you devils? He grabbed Hange's attention. She turned around and took her glasses off, answering him with a sexy look on her face. I'm not trying to deny it, but I'm sure Nick thought the same thing about you. That's why I said what I did. That I was beginning to feel sorry for you. Hange placed her hands on the cell bars. Look at how pathetic you are. Grown-ass men wailing and crying. It serves you right, morons. She raised her voice tone. See how you like spending the rest of your life shitting in a tiny cell. She quickly lowered her voice and finished by saying, see you. Next in line. Sans took Hange's gaze as she shook her head to see him. This role of ours. There's an order to it. When one's role is done, another steps in to start the act again. And thus, the world can never be rid of it. He stared Hange with a tear falling all the way down to his chin. Good luck, Hange. She didn't reply, she only headed back upstairs. Section Commander, Moblet said, no response from her. Hange closed the cellar door behind her and exhaled. She kicked a table next to her so hard it turned upside down. Levi gazed her with the I don't give a damn expression. Sorry, I made a mess. She weared her glasses again and continued. There was a cockroach. Levi turned from the other side and retorted to her. I see. Just one kick of yours should have blasted it to bits. He changed subject and headed upstairs. It's about time you fill them in. Oh, yeah, I should. She walked upstairs with Levi and faced everyone in a dark room. Only a small candle were giving light inside the dark medieval room. Eren will be eaten, Armin asked, with his hands crossed together. Yeah. Eren remembered a conversation that went like this. She explained them Eren's flashback about Ymir's and Bertholdt's conversation on the tree branch. Speculating based on that, Ymir was a titan wandering alone outside the wall. Bertholdt, Reinur and Annie had a comrade that she ate. Hange kept explaining them about the titan powers. When a titan eats someone, they don't change back into a human. But what if a titan ate one of Ryuner's comrades? They're humans who can transform into titans. In other words, if a titan eats someone with that power, they revert back into a human. Furthermore, they obtain the power of those they ate. In the other day's battle, Ryuner was throwing titans at Eren, who had escaped. Everyone had their gazes on Hange. Eren has the power to control titans with his scream. He was trying to snatch that power with those titans. In that case, Eren is just a vessel who is bound to be replaced. Basically, if the government has a titan of their own, they'll be the one to eat Eren. Mikasa walked near the stairs of the room, ready to go and rescue Eren, but Levi placed his hand on her shoulder and prevented her from leaving. Calm down. Don't forget about Saitama. He must be somewhere there with Eren and Historia. I told you to have faith in him. Levi and Mikasa shifted their bodies to the others. But we'll assist our bald comrade. We head for the lands of this Rodriguez. Get ready to leave at once. Levi ordered to his squad and they reply in union. Yes, sir. In the One-Punch-Man world, Genos reached the open field near a lake. His sensei, Garu, and Cat Girl fought God. The cyborg could see Garu's body on the ground. His right hand was completely exploded. Damn it, Genos mumbled to himself as he facepalmed in anger. My fault. It's all my fault. Sensei, I failed you and everyone else. Genos shifted his gaze towards Cat Girl's dead body. The young cyborg walked near her. You too. Genos kneeled and clenched his metal palms tightly. Suddenly a glowing stone made him stare at it. Genos' eyes widened in utter shock after he scanned the stone. Huh? It's Cat Girl's space-time stone. Why, it's glowing though. The light of the stone illuminated tremendously, making Genos to cover his sights. What is Goi time itself changed? In the One-Punch-Man world, at the beginning of the battle with God, Genos opened his eyes to only witness unbelievable events. He traveled back in time to where Cat Girl teleported him, Saitama and Garu at the remote location in order to fight God. Genos still had the space-time stone in his hand. Cat Girl asked the cyborg with widened eyes, "How you have my space-time stone?" Genos saw the stone. It turned into ashes in his wide-open palm. You used the stone. Cat Girl shouted. I think so, Genos said while he's scanning around to find Saitama's location. No sight of the bald hero though. Only Garu and Cat Girl were aside with him. God appeared from the distance, heading towards them. Hey, what kind of entrance is that? Garu stated, in a mocking way, ready to launch against God. Stop, Genos screamed as loud as he could. He made them all turn their gazes to him. Even God stopped to see what this third-dimensional being was about to say. Ah, I see. This bug used the space-time stone and rewinded time. God thought to himself as he stared at those insects front of him. What are you doing, demon cyborg? Garu shouted. Both him and Cat Girl couldn't believe what Genos did. He kneeled and bowed towards God to show some sort of respect. Listen, everyone, I returned from the future. He killed both of you. He shredded me into pieces. Garu and Cat Girl let Genos resume his words. They had a feeling of disappointment to hear about their own deaths. Impressive, for a third-dimensional being. But this mere space-time stone you had didn't erase my memory. Things like space and time are still under my dominion. God exclaimed, as he raised both of his arms towards the sky. The cosmic dust all over his body gave a theory in Genos' mind. Sensei is not here. I have returned, but he's not here with us. Why? They heard a laugh from God. Of course he's not here. I am sure you're talking about the other being I fought. God said to them, making Genos to ask, where is he? What happened to my sensei? Genos asked, with fear and frustration on his face. We are now in the third dimension, so I sent him into the fourth dimension. God explained and resumed. The entity had all of theirs gazes on him. Space and time doesn't work the same for all the dimensions. This mere space-time stone you used only affected this dimension we're inside now as we speak. In the fourth dimension, space and time work differently. God responded with a serious voice. Garu gritted his teeth in anger. FUUTSK. He covered his face with his hands. What we do now? Cat Girl asked Genos, who's still bowing to God. Powerful entity, I beg you, take me to where my sensei is. God thought about this offer for a few seconds. Very well, but in one condition, he declared. Anything. We won't fight you. It's not worth the entirely Earth's living creatures and people to die. Garu shook his head to Genos and asked with a confused expression. What do you mean by that, demon cyborg? Genos stood up and responded. In our previous fight, he erased every living creature, including people, monsters, and animals. Cat Girl took a few steps back. Garu had a serious expression right now. He nodded to Genos and God. He lowered down his fists. You hand me over that creature and I'll get you where you desire. He pointed Catgirl. Genos didn't have another choice. His master was way more important from an alien like her. Alright, she's yours. Genos stared down to the ground with a poker face. Garou didn't resist and did the same. I trusted you. You fucky god placed her inside an energy ball and vanquished it from existence. You thought wise, third dimension being. I have administered with the bug. I'll grant you the wish you want. God snapped his fingers and a green glowing stone appeared in Genos' hand. What is that? The cyborg questioned the entity. It's a teleportation stone. Once you smash it, the stone will unleash the power within it. You will teleported straight into the fourth dimension, to the planet of where your precious sensei is. God replied to both Genos and Garou. Thank you. Genos saluted God once again, before he vanished like dust in the wind. Now it's only Genos and Garou. Genos ignored everything around him. His gaze was on the teleportation stone God gave him and said, I didn't have other choice. Garou. Demon Cyborg's answer agitated Garou, but he could do nothing. So, what's the plan? Garou asked with raised eyebrows. We head back to the Hero Association. We'll grab some S-class heroes to come along with us. Genos exclaimed with a serious tone. So be it. Demon Cyborg. Their gazes shifted towards north. That's the way back to the cities. Garou declared to him. Let's go. Genos said and thought at the same time. Sensei, hang on. In the Attack on Titan world, Erwin and Pixis had a conversation about Erwin's father, who was a teacher and got killed from the well-known accidents. Erwin knew military police was behind his father's death, but he changed subject. One of the first interior squad confessed. The current royal family is a fraud. Rias is the true royal family, Erwin said with a serious tone. My word. Pixis couldn't believe it and his eyes widened, Hange standing right next to Erwin. Right now, Squad Levi is underway rescuing Eren and Historia. Saitama is probably there too. Once they're recovered, we'll have Historia Rias enthroned as queen. As one possessing the true royal blood, Saitama will become the greatest protector the queen can have. Both Hange and Moblet sighed surprised from Erwin's words. And you'll force the makeshift king to relinquish the crown to the true queen? Pixis asked. Without spilling any blood, we will overthrow the government. Pixis stood up, placing a hand on his chin. And in front of the people, will reveal that the system as they know it has all been a lie. Pixis shifted his gaze back to Erwin and declared, very well, I'll back your plan. However, whether or not it should be carried out is not for us to decide. You understand that, don't you, Erwin? Of course, Commander Erwin replied to Pixis. Erwin has one mission in his life, to prove his father's theory once and for all. The next day morning, the market square was all crowed. The scout regiment murdered a civilian. Some of them have fled capture. They're still on the loose. If you spot any of these persons, report it immediately. A member of the military police said out loud, while he's holding wanted papers with Levi's squad faces, including Saitama's bald head. Two citizens chilling on the bridge, holding two wanted papers. Told you, didn't I? They're the ones who had that Titan battle here and destroyed practically everything. Jean wearing a hat sneak walked past them, reaching Armin and Mikasa. I bet they're planning to use the Eren monster and that Saitama devil to wipe us out. Jean, Armin and Mikasa returned to their hiding spot and met with Levi and the rest of their comrades, except for Saitama who was with Historia and Rod. Jean said to Levi, Captain, we bought the supplies. The military police were handing out these. Armin hand over to Levi two wanted papers, revealing Levi's and Saitama's bored face. If this is true, the scouts will be disbanded. I hear they'll be hunting for us tonight. They're also putting guards on all the vital roads, and it's impossible to get through without a pass, except if Saitama was here with us, he could carry us one by one so we could not be seen by any guard, thanks to his speed. Armin finished explaining and asked, Captain, what now? Mikasa said right after Armin's question. If we don't hurry, Eren. Levi shifted his head to them. Calm down. They're using a wagon. Plus Saitama must be after them too. It'll take them at least a day to reach Ria's territory. We'll have to use that time to come up with a plan. Levi retorted. But Captain, Saitama should be done with Rod and his servants. He has the strength of 1,000 men. Why we should go too and risk our lives? Why don't we let him do the dirty job? Jean asked their captain worried. Saitama is a member of our squad. We can't give up on him. He could do the same for each one of us. I am sure about that hypothesis. We will assist him however we can. Doesn't matter if he's invincible. We're a team and that's what teams do, they helping each other. Levi stated to them. Nobody dared to give a different answer. Where are you, my cute potato head? I miss you already. Sasha thought inside her mind about Saitama before she heard footsteps closing in. Captain, I hear footsteps, Sasha replied, making them to shift their attentions towards her. They're coming this way. with Hange and Flegel on the roof. Hange has saved Flegel from 3 military police members cause they were chasing him. Flegel, he mumbled. Nice to meet you, Flegel. I'm Hange Zoe. The thing is, if the military police is after you, that must mean you know the truth about your father's death, right? Can you tell me what happened? She asked him. Flegel placed his right fist on his forehead to remember. While I was busy taking a piss, the interior police got my old man. A tall guy wearing a black coat. He killed my father. He stared her with tears. In any case, it's great that you're still alive. Now we can make the truth public. Hange explained. He said to her, clamoring, how's that? Haven't you seen the paper? If the military police say the scouts did it, that's the truth. My testimony means jack shit. They know I was there. The interior police found out I saw everything. Now there's nowhere safe for me to go. Even his nose cry from fear. All I can do is run and hide in these cramped walls. My life is shit. He closed his eyes and the tears fall from his face. Well, you have a point. The thing is, that doesn't sound like living to me. Hange stood back up. Look at it this way, Flegel. Instead of scampering around like a scared little mouse your whole life, wouldn't you rather face up to your enemy, even if it means risking your life? He screamed and cut he off. Like hell I would. Not everyone has the same disregard for their lives as you do. Not only that, but you have no right to criticize me either. He shifted his head away with a slightly angry expression. Don't you care about telling your company and family the truth? Hange shouted to him. He answered. Huh? That's just what's best for you. Hange grabbed his chest angry and lifted him up. Of course it is. You ought to start thinking what's best for you, too. A random citizen replied. Who's that? Who's making a scene on my roof? Hange walked forward and grabbed Flegel's hands. She said, determined to him. Now then, you're coming with me, Flegel. He resisted and replied negatively. Hell no. Your gank already lost. You've been defeated. Hange gazed back while she was forcing him to follow her. What are you talking about? Defeat is all the scout regiment has ever known. But that event will be extremely rare from now on, cause we have a walking god on our side. Flegel dropped another sweat and asked loud. You mean the Bal? Hange gave a smirk and stated. Indeed I mean him. Saitama got bored. He's still in the wagon with Historia, Rod and Eren. Gouache, are we there yet? I'm hungry. The hero rebutted, making Rod and Historia face him. Calm down, Saitama. When we get there, you will be served with some of the best bread Rias' family has. Rod exclaimed to the caped baldy with a serious expression. Bread? Wow, for a royal bloodline you are cheap. Rod didn't answer. He's focused to complete his plan. Saitama's pav. I should just run away with Eren and Historia, but since the guy is her father there's nothing to worry about. Except for Eren. If anything goes wrong with him I'll help. Damn it, if Genos was here he would know what to do. Genos. I miss him to be honest. Hell, I miss everything from my world. Even the sassy child with the green hair. In the world of One Punch Man. Genos and Garou reached the Hero Association HQ in a city. They walk inside and got everyone's attention. It's Garou the monster. Call the S-Claw. Genos cut Agoni and told everyone to relieve themselves. Listen, the situation is dire. Bring the S-Class heroes here immediately. Genos ordered Agoni with a serious tone. I hope you got a good reason for that. Agoni agreed with disbelief. 1 hour later most of the S-Class heroes were sitting front of the table where they were meet Saitama first time, facing demon cyborg and human monster Garou. Why the hell you told me this is emergency? I skipped out on my little sister's piano recital for this. Metal Bat shouted to Agoni. TCH, that's Garou, Atomic Samurai exclaimed. Garou, why you brought us here? Is the Earth in danger? Bang asked with a serious expression. Who knows? But I want to know too or else I'll make this planet's relations stop. I had something important to do with Fubuki. Tatsumaki shouted, staring at Agoni. Garou, Flashy Flash shouted, pulling out his blade. Calm down, everyone. Garou is not an enemy, he's trying to help me. Genos declared to the S-Class heroes. Like hell we fully cut it out, Tatsumaki. Silverfang cut off Tornado, making her to shift her gaze away with crossed arms. HMPH. King was present too. Thud, thud, thud. Everyone could hear his king engine. Bang spoke for everyone and asked. Genos-kun, what's the meaning of this meeting? And where's Saitama-kun? The demon cyborg finally decided to explain them. My sensei has been teleported to another world by a fourth-dimensional entity called God. We tried to fight and defeat this threat, but it was not enough. God used an ability he had and erase everyone from existence. Only my sensei remained and stranded against him. God teleported him into the fourth dimension. I managed to rewind time and save everyone, including the people and heroes inside this room. I traveled back at the scene who were ready to fight. Him, me and Garou to protect Earth. Genos stopped to take a few breaths. You saying that Egghead is trapped in another world? Tatsumaki asked with a cocky expression and raised eyebrows. Yes, terrible tornado S-class hero rank 2. We'll need you to come and aid us in our long journey. Thus we'll find my sensei and bring him back. Genos replied determined to her. Why would I care about that baldy? Silverfang joined the conversation. Tatsumaki, you're a part of the Hero Association. A hero, right? Bang asked her while he's touching his mustache. HMPH. Fine, I'll go save this pest. She didn't want to admit it. Bang is right. Anyone else? The heroes thought about it. Slowly each one of them stood from their sits and left the room. I'm sorry, Genos, King said with his fake serious face. I'm sorry, love. I will miss my boyfriends here. Puri prisoner said and patted Genos' head. Garu's gaze was on his old master. Hey. Old geezer, you won't come with us. Bang placed his hands on Garu's shoulders and exclaimed in a calm tone. I'm entrusting you to bring Saitama back, Garu, my greatest student. Garu's body shivered entirely hearing his master's wise response. I will, Garu stated. Now what? How we will get to that fourth dimension the baldy is in? Tatsumaki floated towards Genos. With this, God gave it to me, cause I made a deal with him after I rewinded time. Genos took out from his pocket the teleportation stone and showed it to Tatsumaki. God informed me about it. All we need to do is to smash it. Garu snapped his fingers, taking tornadoes, and Genos gazes on him. Let's go then, he ordered to Genos. Here we all the S-class heroes who were leaving saw someone ran passing them. They didn't got a good look, but they saw the stranger having a blue cape behind him. A man with a muscular build entered the room. He had spiky black hair and wear a blue superhero suit with a blue cape. His suit's front zipper was outlined with a fiery contour. I'll come with you, the stranger said, taking a hero pose and placing his hands around his belly. He even had a huge smile on his face. BL Blast. Everyone except Blast, who still had his hero pose, shifted their gazes at the E-Spur. Yo, you came back, she whispered and landed on her feet. It's been a while, doesn't it? Blast questioned the E-Spur. Genos saluted the S-class rank 1 hero. It's an honor to meeting you in person, Blast. Blast shake hands with Genos and Garu while he replied to Demon Cyborg. Cut the flatteries. Like you said, somebody needs rescue in another world. Agoni and his men sweated and took a few steps back. The mighty Blast had finally returned, and he was about to leave again. Why yes, my master is lost into another world. Genos described the situation to the number 1 hero, successfully taking his attention fully. That's just great. Use that little stone so we can leave at once. Blast ordered Genos, who nodded. Oh, how you knew about the entire conversation? Garu asked, surprised, making Blast to shift towards him and give a proper answer. I was spying you two from the start and followed you all the way here. The situation is truly dire. You need my assistance. Of course we do, Genos said and finished. He lifted his hand up, ready to throw the stone on the ground. It's all in, Blast stated. After that, Genos throwed it and the floor shattered it. The ground underneath them opened, revealing a green portal. It sucked them inside it. Genos, Tatsumaki, Garu and Blast. Everyone had different thoughts. Master, I'm coming. Thanks to Baldy, I'm reunited with Blast. I won't fail you, old geezer. Let's see how tough is this new world. Blast still had a smile planted on his face. Heroic entrance. After the relinquish of the makeshift king and the fall of the fake government, Hange and Moblet came to inform Levi and his team with some awesome news. And there you have it. The coup d'etat was successful. Premier Zachary has control of the capital and administrative district. For the time being, the nobility hasn't rebelled, she explained while everyone had surrounded Levi to read the newspaper. What about the Boss Reeves incident? Armin asked. The section commander replied with a smirk. We got a confession that proved the changes unfounded. His son Flegel really pulled through big time. With Flegel pushed a middle-aged man against a wall. It's the man who create and edit the newspaper. Don't you get it? Flegel didn't finish. The government doesn't give a shit about saving any of us. Face the truth now, because it'll be too late when you're dead. Flegel replied to the man threateningly. That's right. If Titans attack us again, there'll be nothing left this time. Not the company, not our families. Let's print the truth before that happens. A younger man with glasses stated to the old man, who now had widened eyes. They start printing newspapers. Back with Hange and the others. Just like it's written right there. It shows the charges were bogus, they abused their power, and that King Fritz was a total fake. All our actions were justified self-defense. In other words, we're free people now, Hange declared, making everyone to cheer and scream loud. Excluding Levi, who was reading the paper, they all cheered as one. Woohoo, Levi answered to Hange with a slightly amazement expression. Looks like the gamble paid off. Yeah, it wasn't just Erwin though. The lone choices of many managed to change the world. Hange retorted and shook her irises left to see her short friend taking a step next to her. And I managed to kill the 3 people you loaned me. I'm sorry. Levi apologized to her and resumed the discussion. The thing is, part of the interior police, their leader, Eren and Historia are somewhere else. If we don't find them soon. Hange cut the captain to inform them about that too. Saitama won't let anyone hurt them. Keep faith in our hero Levi. Plus I may have a clue about to where they are, including our bald comrade. She showed them a black book and finished the conversation by saying determined. Let's get there and put an end to this battle. As a result of Erwin's actions, it was declared that the current regime would be ousted. That announcement came immediately after the military gained control of the capital and administrative district, and took place upon the gallows constructed specifically for him. As for Saitama, he's still with Eren and Historia. Our hero doesn't feel threatened. Doesn't matter if he'll meet new enemies among the way to help humanity of this world, to get rid of the titans and the bad guys. Nighttime. Hange and Moblet joined forces and took off with Levi and his squad on a carriage. Jean and Moblet were lighting the way on their horses, with torches in their hands. Hange, you might know where they are, Mikasa asked and faced Hange. Yeah, I'll explain, Hange remarked, clearing her throat. She begun. Erwin gave me this scout investigation report regarding Lord Rias' land. Most of it has to do with an incident 5 years ago that shook up the Rias family. Armin's irises shifted to Hange. 5 years ago, right? On the day Wall Maria was breached. The day we didn't had such ally as Saitama. I'll summarize the important bits from the beginning. Hange replied and blinked her eyes. She continued. As the lord of his territory, popular opinion of Rod Rias wasn't all that bad. He had 5 children, and his eldest daughter Frieda was a down-to-earth girl that even the peasants adored. But that night, 5 years ago, disaster struck. With the world hastening plunged into pure chaos, some bandits raided and set fire to the only chapel around. Unfortunately, that night, the entire Rias family was there praying together. Hange resumed the story of Rias' family. And so, the whole family, save for the head of the house, Rod Rias, was massacred that night by the bandits. To top it off, this incident occurred just a few days before Historia's mother was killed by the interior police. In other words, immediately after losing his family, Rod Rias sought out Historia. There must be a reason he and his lackeys are after Historia. Hange finished, making everyone taking in this information. The same bloodline, Levi asked and continued with both of his arms crossed together. Is there some secret to their blood? Hange shifted her head and exclaimed towards him. I don't know for sure yet, but what really makes me curious is that parts of the chapel are completely wrecked. The chapel itself is stone. It would take tons of time and effort to destroy it. Bandits would take what they can and make a quick escape. Plus, the only one who saw those bandits was Rod Rias himself. Soon after, he used his own fortune to rebuild the chapel. But why? Everyone stare back to Hange. If you think about it, it's actually stranger that there were no traces of titans. Even if I'm jumping to conclusions, something this suspicious deserves us checking it. She finished with her theory. Levi thought about it. Eren opened his eyes slowly after he saw a vision about Frieda combing her hair slowly. Eren was shirtless and chained from both hands. He was kneeled on a tall edge. The entire place was made with hardening titan skin, like Annie's ability that only Saitama could shatter at this point. The crystallized pillars seemed to hold the ceiling from above his head. The Titan shifter thought with widened eyes while he was moving his head around. What the hell? Before the night is over, we'll have soldiers all over Rias land. I doubt he'll be waiting that long. Only Saitama might be able to save Eren from this point. If we or Saitama don't hurry and get there, Eren may end up being eaten. I'm just hoping our bald comrade is there to rescue him in Historia. Hange exclaimed. Armin, who was a little bit worried, thought about it. If a titan eats a person who can change into a titan and thus inherits their power. If that's actually true, when and how did Eren become a titan, and who did he eat to gain his powers? Eren attempted to escape, but the chains were preventing him. Even his ankles are chained and fastened on the crystal floor. Shit. Eren cursed those chains and continued. If Saitama was here, he could rescue me in Historia. He shifted his head forward to only see Historia in a long white dress and Saitama with a piece of bread in his hand walking near him. Saitama. Historia. The hero ate the last piece of bread and replied. That's some tasty bread. Oh Eren, are you okay? Let me calm him down, Saitama. Historia's gaze shifted towards Eren. Eren, you're awake. Just hang in there a while longer. Everything's fine. Saitama scratched his nose and asked her. Are you sure everything's fine? He might catch a cold. He doesn't even have a shirt on. Let me help you. Saitama made a small jump and reached Eren with no effort. Historia's eyes widened in nervousness and ordered the hero. Saitama, don't rush anything. I'll explain to you and Eren everything. Saitama showed slightly disbelief in her words. Are you sure? Yes, Saitama. Trust me, now come down here. Saitama got confirmation from Historia, so he jumped down again, stepped back, right behind her and retort Historia with a bored expression. Okay, whatever you say, queen. He tried to make a joke, but nobody laughed or even smiled. The hero didn't care either about his bad comedy. Only the night was getting even more boring for him. Eren, Saitama, listen to me, both of you. My father has been an ally to all of humanity within the walls for many years past and many years to come. We were clearly mistaken about him. Saitama lifted a finger and asked, I don't understand much, but I'll try to. Historia shifted her head and gave a small smile towards Saitama. I'm talking about my father, who brought us here, Saitama, and it's true that he's been a problem for the scouts, and his people did kill Pastor Nick. But he didn't have any other choice. Everything he's done, he had to do for the sake of humanity. Historia finished. Historia, let me explain the rest to your protector and Eren. Rod took everyone's attention. Eren thought to himself, it's coming back to me. Yeah, the last thing I can remember is those three. How long has it been? Captain, Armin, what happened to the scouts? Eren's gaze turned towards the crystallic pillars before he thought once more with curiosity. What's up with these walls, glowing like that? I can't tell if it's day or night. No, hold on a second. Haven't I been to this place before? Saitama, Historia and Rod reached Eren by using a staircase behind him. What's wrong? This is the first time you've come here, though it wouldn't be strange if you recognize it, Rod stated, while Eren was staring behind at them. No, I have never been to this place before. Also, you can use a harder material to reconstruct this facility. Saitama made Rod to shift his gaze and answer. I'm talking to Eren. Of course you have never been here before. Now please, protector, let the royal blood do the talking from now on. Saitama didn't get almost everything from this conversation. He could easily release Eren from these chains, but even Historia told him not to do so. What does he mean by that? The chain titan shifter thought in his mind, while Rod extended his arm with open palm towards Eren's back. Father, explained to Saitama and Eren. Rod agreed, yes, I intend to. However, there's something I want to try first, with Eren. His answer made Saitama to smack his forehead. The hero's face were completely bored now. Him and Historia extended their hands, reaching Eren. If we do this, he may remember all on his own. Rod ended his words. Both him and Historia touched Eren's back, forcing him to remember the fight between his father and Frieda. Also, Eren remembered the night he ate his father. Eren's gaze completely empty. Did you remember your father's sin? Rod exclaimed. Historia had placed her hand on her head. She remembered her life as a child. Frieda were always with her. She showed tears and took a step back. What's wrong, Historia? Rod retorted. Why did I forget about that until now? I was never alone. That girl was always there for me. She gave me books, taught me how to read and write, and was so kind to me. How could I forget about her? Rod and Saitama faced her. You met Frieda? Her father asked. Saitama gave his own question. Can you explain me what happened and who is that Frieda? Saitama didn't care to know, but this was the only way to avoid boredom. It's Frieda, Saitama, and if it was a young girl with long, black hair, the one Historia saw, it was most likely Frieda Reyes. She was Historia's half-sister. Historia and Saitama stared to him. Historia with widened and desperate eyes, while Saitama with his neutral expression. Rod resumed. She must have been worried and came to check up on Historia's occasionally. If she was erasing her memories, it was all done to protect Historia, Saitama, to protect you, Historia. He shifted his attention to his daughter. Huh? Erasing my memories? She asked, worried. Yes, but touching your hand to him seems to have uncovered those memories again. Historia absolved from her worries and asked her father. Saitama next to her was picking his nose. Father, where is Frieda at now? I'd like to see and thank her. Rod were gazing to Historia and her jumpsuit protector while she continued. If she wasn't there for me, I need to thank her for what she did for me then. Historia ended and waited her father's response. Frieda is no longer in this world. And I don't mean into another one like your protector was. Saitama shifted his shiny head to Rod. Finally something interesting to chat with. Oh, how you knew I came from another world. Rod crossed his hands together. The rumors about you are true. You came from the sky, which means from another world. But Frieda is a totally different version of you. Rod stared back to Historia, putting her in his hug and placing his hand on her head. Listen carefully to protector, Rod said to Saitama. The caped baldy agreed. Okay. Rod began to explain the story of his family. At one time, I had 5 children, but my wife and all of my children, Frieda included, were killed 5 years ago by his father, Yeager. Saitama kept listening to Rod while Eren remembered what Grisha did. Grisha was a person with the powers of the Titans. I do not know who the man was, but ... His goal was to steal the power the Reyes family possessed. This power Grisha sought to obtain. It was the power of the Titans residing within Frieda. Frieda's Titan was superior to all other Titans. You could say her Titan had unsurpassable power. However, she did not have the experience to properly wield it. Unable to unleash her true potential, she was eaten by Grisha and he stole the power. But that's not all. He then attacked my entire family. His rampage sought to eradicate the Reyes family. Eren couldn't believe what his father had done. He only kept listening with wide open eyes. He crushed the 14-years-old Dirk and 12-years-old Abel. He trampled over my wife and 10-years-old Florian still clutched in her arms. Lastly, he took my eldest son, Olklin, and squeezed the life out of him. Miraculously, I was the only one who made it away. Rod finished explaining about Frieda and his family to her and Saitama. Unbelievable. That's how she... Why would he do such a terrible thing? No answer. Suddenly they heard footsteps coming closer. Hugh... At long last, we'll settle it. Kenny glaring daggers towards Saitama. Who are you, man? Did we met before? Saitama stated to Kenny with an innocent face. Kenny, what happened? Kenny aimed at Saitama furiously. Firstly, the scouts started a coup d'etat and all the regiments changed sides. Everyone knows the king's a big fake. All the big shots ended up getting captured. And now I have the man my men told me about. Right here, right front of me. Oh, so you are Kenny, the boss of the dudes I crippled. Kenny shook his head and answered, indeed I am Bald Devil. How about I demonstrate by planting a bullet in your thick skull? I truly want to know if my men were telling the truth about you being immune to bullets, and King is only matter of time till the scouts show up here. Rod joined in the conversation. Kenny, lower down your weapons immediately. Saitama is Historia's protector, you won't spar with him. Instead, leave us and take your anti-personnel control squad and defend the entrance. I believe I told you already that I need you and your crew to leave for the ceremony. Whoa, now, King. Did I make you mad? No response from Rod. Sorry about that. But you can't be serious about that, Ma. Rod said to Kenny with a serious expression. Kenny, my choice about him is right. I trust you that you will get along with Saitama too. Go, as you wish, King. Kenny turned around and left the area who they were, cursing Rod from inside his mind, cause he didn't got a chance to fight Saitama. Tesk, that fucker is right there, and I can't even engage him. I know Rod manipulation on him worked, but I really want to test the bullet's immunity theory. Meanwhile, the Oppum heroes entered the Aot world. A green portal cleaved the sky, unleashing the four heroes, Blast, Genos, Garu and Tatsumaki, their momentum's getting even faster. Hey Tatsumaki, we could use a hand. Garu shouted to the E-Spur. HMPH. Tatsumaki obeyed, using her incredibly strong psychic ability to levitate Genos, Blast and Garu on the air. A green aura surrounded their bodies and stopped their speed tremendously. Deactivated for me, Blast stated, making Tatsumaki and the others to turn their gazes on him immediately. Biba Blah, the #1 hero, cut her off, shifting his spiky hair head towards her and saying, "You're not a kid anymore, don't act like one, I can handle myself." Tatsumaki's gaze turned serious while she disabled her power from Blast. See, all better. Blast were flying on his own. You can fly, Genos asked with awe. Fly and so many more, but now focus on rescuing your master. Genos nodded, and thanks to Tatsumaki's psychic powers they following Blast. Hey, are those down there people? Garu asked. How the hell I'm supposed to know? It's dark as Fu. Blast talk over Tatsumaki language. Tatsumaki crossed her hands together and buffed her cheeks in frustration. Let's see if they know anything about Saitama, and I do hope they are not hostile or else. Garu exclaimed and clenched his fists. Levi and Mikasa had a talk on a carriage about the Ackerman's power. Has there ever been a moment where it's felt like power suddenly awakened inside you? Levi asked. There has. Mikasa responded and finished. Who the hell are those? Jean shouted in utter shock, seeing and pointing at the S-class heroes and Garu who were approaching from the sky above. What the? Levi stated. Everyone, prepare for battle. He shouted. Mikasa and the rest of his squad pull out their blades. Blast landed with his fist colliding to the ground, making it bend and shatter, revealing himself front of the scouts. His blue cape was waving heroically with the wind. Hello strangers, we just want to ask about someone you might know. Like hell we'll trust an outsider like you. You appeared from the sky, like the Baldy. Captain, I'll handle him. Mikasa replied, determined, and launched herself against Blast. Mikasa, wait. They came from the sky, and that guy's wearing clothing exactly like GHHAH. Armin was about to reply, but a young man with sharp features, yellow eyes, and long silver hair that spikes upward in two large prongs, giving a feeling of a young wolf, launched a heavy kick on the blonde's face, forcing him to fall from his horse. The man had a lean muscular build. He wears a tight black, long-sleeved shirt, loose-fitting white martial arts pants, a yellow sash around his waist and tai chi slippers on his feet. Hey, they are hostile, Levi cursed the spiky white hair man. He shifting gazes between Armin and Mikasa. Damn it, Levi stared on the sky to see a woman who had an adolescent face with emerald green eyes and green hair that naturally curls up on the ends. She wears a form-fitting black dress with long sleeves and 4 high-cut leg slits that show off her legs and low-heeled black shoes. Tornado staring at him with a menacing expression. Who the fuck are you? Levi demanded to her, propelled himself and spin with his blades against Tatsumaki, but suddenly a glowing green aura levitate Levi and stopped his movements. What the hell? Tatsumaki floated near and came face to face with Levi. You're about to be real sorry for what you tried to do, you short noxious pest. Tatsumaki slowly closed her palm and Levi was choking on his own. He thought, what the actual fuck are those people? My body doesn't listening to me. You won't stop me from getting Eren back, bastard. Mikasa shouted as she were ready to hit blast. She missed miserably, the guy is so fast she didn't even see him dodging. He's right behind her. Heh, you got spunk, you're quite amusing. But you better tell us what you know, weaklings, or else be destroyed, in the name of justice. Sasha and Jean had no clue who they were going to assist first. Genos landed next to Garu and placed his metal arm on Garu's chest. Enough. Blast, and Tatsumaki heard him. The E-spur didn't stop choking Levi though. Hey Tatsumaki, put him down. Blast ordered and she did so. HMPH. She throw Levi on a tree like garbage. Genos walked forward with Tatsumaki floating, Blast hero posing and Garu smirking behind him. I'll explain who we are and why we're here. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 3. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video, till then goodbye.